What's going on? What's going on? How's everybody doing? How is everybody doing? Come on in and hit that like button for me. Hit that like button. Let me know where you're checking in from. Let me know where you are checking in from. I can already answer the question to this live. No. All right. Well, you know what? I'm not. Let me move this out the way. Let me see something. So the purpose of this live is not to answer the question. The purpose of this live is to point people in the right direction as far as making the decision for themselves as far as should they quit their job. The reason why I did this live is because I get asked this question a lot. All right, I get asked this question a lot, and it's not a question that I can answer for someone because, and here's the reason why I don't answer it when people ask me this question, because I don't want to put myself in the trick bag. And when I say put myself in the trick bag, that means if I give you an answer, let's say, yeah, go ahead and quit your job. Go ahead and quit your job and come on to the entrepreneur side of financial freedom, create your own wealth, and make your own decisions. You don't have a boss looking over your shoulder and things of that nature, and you do it, and then you become the 20% or the 30% or the 20% that fail in the first year, the 30% that fail in the second year, or the 50% that fails by year 5. Then you're gonna say, well, man, I shouldn't have listened to Mark. He told me to do this. Now I done quit my job and I done lost all my benefits and I went out and got this truck and I'm not making no money and I can't go back to my job. All right. So I don't want to put myself in that situation. And then I don't want to put myself in a situation where, as I say, you know what, stay at your job. You have a good job. You're making 6 figures. This box truck thing is tricky, which I've said is tricky, you know what I'm saying? Because it is tricky. Any business you jump into is going to be tricky, So stick at your job. This is not something that you probably want to do. Stay where it's safe at, you know what I'm saying? And then while you're there, you may like the job, you may not like the job, but in the back of your head, you're always going to be wondering, like, man, what if I would have just not listened to Mark and took that chance? What if I might have been one of the ones that would have made it? I might have seen some success from it. I should have took the chance. I shouldn't have listened to him. So I'm not going to set myself up for the okey doke in that sense. So usually when people ask me that question, it puts me in an uncomfortable. I get uncomfortable when I get asked that question because I can't really give you a solid answer. So what I decided to do was put together this live tonight and kind of go over some things that can maybe help a person who is maybe looking to leave their job, give you some things to think about as far as approaching leaving your job and entering into this space. I actually had a person reach out to me this week that was she might be watching, that wants to leave their job to jump into the medical courier business. And some of the things that I coached her on in that session, I'm going to talk about tonight, because I think a lot of people get misguided by what they see online as far as, this whole financial freedom and this entrepreneurship. And I think a lot of people that push people that way is fine, but, not enough people are really coaching people on, the pros and the cons, so that, the person can have a level playing field in their mind as far as, what leaving your job to start this box truck business, what's on the flip coin of it. All right, because there's always a flip coin of it. So that's what we're going to talk about. That's what we're going to talk about tonight. Let me know where you're checking in from. Hit that like button. As you come on in. Let me know where you are checking in from. We got San Antonio in the building, Ocala, Florida in the building. What else we got in the building? San Antonio. He said I can already answer the question. Shout out to the MGA. Shout out to all my Mentor Game members in the building. Hit that like button as you come in. Hit that like button as you come in. All right, so I know this topic is probably not going to be for everyone. So for the people who are already in the space that have already made that transition, that are all still hanging out there, kudos to you. But you know, I think this is a topic that needed to be touched on because, like I said, I get asked this question a lot. You know, and I appreciate people coming to me, you know, asking for my advice on this topic. You know, I truly do, but it's not a question that I can answer for someone. So what I'm going to do, like I said, I created the Mark the Mentor approach to quitting your job. Things you need to consider if you want to quit your job. And then after that, I want to touch on some pros and some cons. And then we're going to do our Q&A. There's a lot of things that I can touch on this topic, but I'm going to focus on some of the main points that a person should think about before they make that huge decision on quitting their job. I got Denver in the building. What else we got in the building here? I got Denver in the building. We got VA, Brian Watkins. I see a lot of regulars. Shout out to all my Mentor Game members in the building. Shout out to all of y'all in the building. Let me just make some adjustments here. I'm gonna move that down some. All right, Denver in the building, VA in the building, Ocala, Florida in the building. I agree. Let me stretch this out some. All right, I agree about people being misguided. A popular YouTuber posted a short of a high Amazon rates, but it was the highest rates in the whole country. Very misleading. Yeah, someone told me about that the other day. You know, and I see a lot of this stuff going on, you know, and I try to do my part to put out good content to give people, you know, my real life situations that I've dealt with. And when I see things like that, I kind of try to counter it with doing live streams and videos that, you know, from the other side of the coin, you know, to kind of tell the real side of it, you know, nothing misleading here. So, you know, I know a lot of the stuff I talk about, it may seem more pessimistic than optimistic, but you know, the reason why I do that is because I don't see a lot, like I keep repeating myself, I don't see a lot of people telling you about the things that you need to look for, you know, look forward to in business. It's not going to be green pastures every day. And if someone tells you all the things that the other side of the equation, you know what to look for. You know, if it happens to you, you know how to maneuver around it. If it's something that, you know, is just unavoidable, you can expect it to happen. You kind of have a game plan already in mind. So then when it hits you, it's just like, man, no one taught me this part of the industry. So, all right, we got North Richard Hills, Texas in the building. Mark, what's going on, brother? Queens in the building. Farad, what's going on? Shout out to all the MGMs and Mentor Game members. Got Rhode Island in the building, Mississippi in the building. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and jump straight into it. I'm going to jump straight into it real quick. Let me pull it up. I'm not going to jump into no news today. We're just going to jump straight into it. All right, so should you quit your job to start a box truck business? Once again, question that I am asked at least once a week. A lot of people are still trying to enter into the space. A lot of people are still trying to enter into the cargo van space. A lot of people just still have interest in entering into the space. And even though the space right now with the economic downturn is not doing well, I think sometimes people ask me this question for me to tell them no. Like sometimes people want you to make the decision for them. They're already leaning one way. And I could tell with some people that ask me that, they just want someone to answer the question for them. I'm not going to do that. So I'm gonna give you the Mark the Mentor approach with this. And like I said, it's gonna be pros and it's gonna be cons, to anything you do. You just have to make the best decision for you. All right. So the U.S. trucking industry is worth $800 billion. All right. It's a lot of money in trucking. All right. Now, and I know a lot of people see that number. I see a lot of content creators throwing this number around, throwing their Amazon numbers around, throwing middle mile numbers around, final mile numbers, or they just put the whole $800 billion number out there, so it makes it seem like it's a lot of money out there. But let's break this down. I want to really break this down. I'm going to do it in an express fashion. I'm not going to make this long and drawn out, because actually this presentation was a lot longer, but I've been working on this for 2 days, and I spent today reducing it because it was a lot longer. So I'm breaking it down. I'm going to give an express version of this. All right, so let's get into it. Now, box trucking. All right, box trucking, the term box trucking. So what I had to do when I came up with this topic, I had to figure out how I was going to approach presenting this. All right, I had to figure out my approach on presenting this. So I had to put myself in the mind, and sometimes I have to do this often. I got to put myself in the mind of a person who's entering into the space right now. I can't, and sometimes it's hard, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's hard for me because I've been in for a while, 2010 and 2022 going into 2023, 2 different time periods. All right. So I have to put myself in the space of a person who's entering. So what I did to prepare for this presentation, I went to Google to research box trucking. All right. I know the industry, I know trucking, but I went to Google to research box trucking so that I can see what you guys see, or what the person who's viewing this live stream at a later time that's looking to enter into this space would see on Google. So I Googled box trucking because this word is thrown around a lot. All right. And this is not a sector in trucking. Box trucking is not a sector in trucking. Everywhere I looked, no matter how much I Googled, no matter how much I dug, anywhere I look on a respectable website centered around trucking did not have a sector for box trucking. All right. So let's put that there. So box trucking is, I would consider it more of a niche. I would consider it more of a niche. Now, when you're talking about sectors in trucking, rather, these are the sectors, the main primary sectors in trucking. All right. You got flatbed, which is oversized freight or oddly shaped cargo. You got dry van, which a lot of people who first get their CDLs, this is what they end up, when they go work for a company, they usually get thrown in this lane, which is dry van, which is non-perishable products and dry goods. You got tankers, which is hazardous and non-hazardous liquids. You got refrigerated or reefer, which is foods, medical products, body products, or highly perishable goods. And all this is done local, regional, OTR. Nothing with box trucking. All right. Now, there is opportunity in box trucking, right? But I'm breaking this down because if you're looking to leave your business, then you have to really do, it's different. Like if you're starting a box truck business and you're not leaving something, you like me, it was a back against the wall situation where I started small and grassrooted and worked my way up. All right. If you're not coming from anything, if you're not sacrificing anything, it's a different ball game. But the research from a person who's sacrificing, all right, something, your research got to be more Trump tight. All right. Because you have more to lose. You're actually giving something up to take a risk. You're giving something up that's solid. It's already proven, right? That's already paying you to take a risk. All right. So you need to do research on trucking. All right. Because I looked up box trucking. I couldn't find nothing on box trucking. I could find information for flatbeds. I could find deep information. I could find deep information on dry vans. I could find deep information on tankers. I could find deep information for refrigerated. I could find deep information for all those major lanes. But when I searched for box trucking, nothing. I saw, whoa, box truck here 10 things you can do with a box truck. I found, okay, this is who sells box trucks, things like that, real general information. But now I see why. Now doing this, researching for this show, I see why a lot of people have questions. I see why a lot of people get misled. I see why people go to people and they spend thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for information, because there's not enough information as far as it pertains to box trucking. All right, because it's a niche. It's a niche. So let's go further into this. All right, so as far as box truck opportunities, I'm going to give you some of the main ones that people are getting into now. The main ones. You got your middle mile OTR, right? You have Amazon Relay, all right? You got final mile, and you got moving. And I'm going to pride myself, because I get this a lot. A lot of people ask me, to talk more about the moving industry. And, the moving industry is something that, you can get into with a box truck. You can start off small and add to your fleet. All right, so box truck opportunities, I kind of put them in order from, lower paying to the highest paying, from top to bottom. Actually, probably, I kind of put I got Amazon Relay and middle mile kind of neck and neck. I guess it could go either way, I guess depending on who you are and how hard you work it. Final mile obviously is going to be a little bit more money because it involves more people and it's more labor. And then moving would be the highest paying if you were to enter into a box truck. If you were to buy a box truck and were looking to enter into any one of these lanes, moving would pay you the most. A lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people don't know. It's like I tell people all the time, look, you could have a person who's running OTR middle mile with the 26-foot box truck. They might average about $5,000 a week. You know what I'm saying? That's shit. You could do that on one move. You know what I'm saying? You could do that on one move. You can do a 4-bedroom house, in one day and make $3,000 to $4,000 if you know what you're doing, as far as with the labor, right? The truck fee, and then all the material costs. The markup on the material costs is where you really make a lot of money. You make the money on the labor, but the markup on the material costs, like if I showed you guys some numbers on the markup, the material costs, and how you charge the customer for this, like everything you wrap for the customer, you charge them. Plus you charge them for the material. So, the moving industry, it's a different ball game. But in the 2023, I'm going to talk more about the moving industry as far as your box truck. All right, come on, guys. Come on in. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. All right. So we're going to go with the Mark the Mentor approach to quitting your job to start a box truck business. Now, this is not the Mark. Let me take that back. Let me rephrase that. This is the Mark the Mentor approach to deciding if you want to quit your job, or if I want to quit my job to jump into the box truck industry. These would be the things that I would look for. All right. This is how I would approach it in determining if I was going to make that decision to leave my high paying job. Let's say I'm making $125,000 a year. You know what? Let's make it even more difficult. Let's say $150,000 a year. I got good benefits. I've been there 10 years, but it's okay. I don't hate it, but I want to be my own boss. It's this whole thing going around now. You want to be your own boss. So, all right. So these are the things that I would look for. Me personally. 1, peak before you spend. All right. Peak before you spend. So before I go out and start investing, before I leave my $150,000 a year job, I'm going to peek into the industry before I start investing into starting this business. What do I mean about peeking into the industry? I'm going to stay abreast of every single thing that's going on in the industry. I'm looking at it. If CNBC, if politics is my news of choice, as far as my niche of news of choice, not crime, not the weather or whatever else, politics. I like politics, right? Let's say that's my niche for news. Now my niche for news is going to be business. I'm watching CNBC and I'm watching MSNBC every single day. And when they talk about trucking, my ears tune in a little bit harder. All right. I want to know everything that's going on. I want to know about what happened in the past. I want to know what's going on in the current, and I want to know what's going on in the future with technology, things that may be changing the industry. And I'm doing that, listening to that simultaneously while I am researching the industry online. All right. So you want to peek into the industry. A big part of investing into business is timing. All right. Timing plays a big, huge factor, and when you're starting your business. Some people, may have a bulletproof, solid business plan. They just enter at the wrong time. Some people enter at the wrong time. You know what I'm saying? If they would have entered at a different time, they may have done, they may have seen some success. So some people, they just get cut a raw deal because of the time aspect of it. So make sure you peek into the industry, and you can use this information and this model for any business. It doesn't have to pertain solely to trucking or box trucking. All right. So make sure you peek into the industry before you get into it. $150,000 a year. You better think twice before you leave that job. Well, that's believe it or not, I talk to a lot of people that make six figures that ask me this question. You know what I'm saying? I talk to people who don't make six figures that ask me this question, but I also talk to a lot of people that do make six figures that ask me this question. Either way, I think, the way you approach it has to be Trump tight. All right. Either way, you know what I'm saying? So, but we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it. All right. Next, financial runway and risk tolerance. All right, so financial runway. All right, if you're going to leave your job, you have to make sure you have enough money in the kitty saved up. All right, in the bank, in the kitty, wherever, under the mattress, in the shoe boxes, wherever you tuck the money at, in the safe. You got to make sure you got enough money at least for 2 years to sustain your personal living. All right, at least 2 years. All right, and the reason why is it's not for certain if the business is going to take off right away. It's not for certain. There's a learning curve there that I always talk about. All right, so imagine entering into this space now in the box truck industry. Imagine entering into this space like people that entered last year, early this year. Imagine entering into this space in August of this year. Imagine entering into this space in September of this year. All right. And then you deal with an economic downturn. No one told you. You didn't see a Mark the Mentor video in August about, peak season. You didn't watch the box truck bubble by Mark the Mentor. You just heard all the good stuff. And then boom, you get hit. Right. You're not making money. You're sustaining the business. You may be breaking even, but what about your personal living? You got to eat. Right? You got to groom yourself. You have to pay your rent. You may have a car note, your electric bill, your gas bill, and all the other bills that you need, to pay to maintain your way of life. All right. So you have to make sure that you have enough money put away for at least a couple of years. All right. To maintain your personal living until you figure out how to make this business profitable. All right. Another thing, and these are two of the most important things that I think a person should look at if they're going to take that risk on leaving their job to start a box truck business, or like I said, any business. All right. Risk tolerance. All right. Do you have a high risk tolerance or do you have a low risk tolerance? All right. Everybody is going to be different. All right. I can tell you when I started small, grassroots. All right. There was no gig economy then. We called it hustling back in the day. All right. So I started taking little jobs off of Craigslist. All right. I had a high risk tolerance. All right. I had a high risk tolerance in business when I was starting out, even when I started scaling with renting trucks and got licensed and then started buying trucks. Even still, I had a high risk tolerance. Right. Why was my risk tolerance high? Because at the time when I started, I was still at home. I didn't have rent. I didn't have gas. I didn't have electric. No kids. Only thing I had was my vehicle, my car note for my Chevy Avalanche at that time, and my cell phone bill. All right. I didn't have any investors into my business. Everything that I made, all right, I reinvested it back into the business. Even though no one invested, I say my biggest investor was my mom, right? My mother was my biggest investor, even though she didn't give me a dime. The reason why she was my biggest investor, because she allowed me to build my business. She allowed me to build my business by letting me live under her roof and not pay no bills. So all that money that I would have had to pay for bills, for rent and things of that, I wouldn't have been able to scale my business as efficiently, as quickly as I did, I don't think, because I would have had things hindering me. All right. So I had a higher risk tolerance. All right. A person with a lower risk tolerance may be someone, let's say, that has a job, right? A career, $150,000, right? A year job, but they also have a wife. They have 2 or 3 kids. They have 2 or 3 mortgages. I mean, two car notes, 1 mortgage. Little Jimmy and little Sally are growing like weeds, so they're constantly buying them clothes. And then Junior is on his way to college next year. You have a lower risk tolerance. All right. You may make 150, but your wife may make 400, let's say. So she may be able to float the family, but man, how long can she float the family? Let's say 250. Let's say 250. You want to go start this box truck business. She may be able to float the family, but it's going to get tight. It's going to get tight. All right. So your risk tolerance is going to be a lot lower. Or you may be a single parent. You may be a single parent with 2 children. You're the custodial parent. Mom or dad, we're not going to be, we're going to be fair here. It might be a single dad, might be a single mother, you know what I'm saying? And you work on your job. You have a nice little nest egg saved, but you also have a car note. You also have a mortgage, and you have 2 children. All right. So your risk tolerance is going to be lower, right? Because once you start getting into that business and spending, if that money ain't generating, you're spending your kitty money, your nest egg money. And little Bobby and little Sally is growing, and they want the new Jordans, and and it's different now. So these kids want things. They want the new Christmas is coming up. They want the new iPhone 14, and and man, you need new tires, and you may be paying rent. Rent's going up, and food is going up, and it's just a lot going on. So you may not have the risk tolerance as a person who, let's say, is getting into this and they don't have any kids, and they're still staying at home with mom, or they have a bigger bag of money because they're doing something on the side to invest into this business. So you have to look at your risk tolerance. All right. You got to look at your risk tolerance. Do you have a high risk tolerance, or do you have a low risk tolerance? Now, if you have a low risk tolerance, that may be something you may need to really take into consideration before you leave your job to start something like box trucking or any business for that matter. All right. With any business you start, there's going to be uncertainty. Listen, I know there's a lot of people out there that are promising you a lot of things, but let me be the first person to tell you, nothing is for certain in business. Nothing. Do you think a lot of those people, I talked about it last Thursday, the box truck hype is dead. It's a reason why out of all the lives that I've done, that's the biggest one. That was the biggest live. And it became the biggest live I did instantly. It didn't have to grow in numbers to that. It from the moment I ended that live, it was the biggest live. All right. And it's a reason why. There's been a lot of hype around this topic. Right. All right. And, a lot of people talk about the good. All right. But, there's a lot of things that if you enter into this industry, there's a lot of uncertainty there. There's a lot of uncertainty. And we're going to get into some of that. So let's keep it moving. All right. Start having an affair. Start having an affair with your future business. All right. What do I mean by start having an affair with your future business? It's basically what it says. Start cheating on your job. On your career, your job, wherever you're thinking about leaving, you need to start cheating on it. All right. See if it's worth it. All right. So what do I mean by cheat on your job? Doesn't mean call off, right? Go to work. After you get off work, you need to spend every day after work, the weekends, your off days, whatever free time you have, researching this new business that you're looking into. All right. If you're looking to start a box truck business, no matter what lane you're looking to go into, whether it's Amazon, whether it's middle mile, moving, final mile, OTR, you need to start spending all your free time. All your free time. Just like a woman who cheats on a man or a man who cheats on a woman, when they not at work and they spending their little weekends now, they not spending it with the main person. They spending their little off time. They dipping off, with the side piece. All right, so your new business is gonna be your side piece. You got to start spending time researching it, building it with all your free time. You want to keep your job while you're doing this. All right. You want to keep your job while you're doing it. So you're going to work hard. You're not going to have free time, because when you're at work, you're working for that company you're working for, and your time becomes the time for the business that you're looking to build. All right. So you got to put that work in. You got to have that ambition. You got to have that drive, because you got to spend that time, that free time you got, researching and teaching yourself about this business. All right. So start cheating on your job with your future business. All right. Now, this is something that it's easy to do nowadays. All right. 10 years ago, this is not something that you could do, because there wasn't opportunities to do this, especially with box trucking and cargo van. Test your business as a side gig. Test your business as a side gig. All right. So if you want to get into the box truck business or even the cargo van business now, you got your job. You can test it as a side gig first. You don't have to quit your job and take that risk. On the weekends, for instance, say you want to do, well, you don't even have to go out and rent a truck. You can get some apps where you can actually jump into the logistics field doing some parcel deliveries in your personal vehicle, just to kind of get your feet wet, see what it's like, moving around, taking orders, learning the app, learning those types of systems. Then you might want to scale up. You know what? I work Monday through Friday. Friday after work, I'm going to stop by U-Haul. I'm going to rent a van. I've already downloaded the whatever app, Amazon Flex, GoShare, Roadie, whatever. All right. I got these apps. Saturday and Sunday, I'm going to spend time just taking jobs on these apps, getting a feel for the logistics industry, seeing what, delivering, dealing with people entails, going to these different stops, pulling up to the loading docks, looking at the instructions for delivery when I get to certain apartment buildings, learning the mail rooms, learning the system, figuring out ways to make the job more efficient for me, so that if I do decide to do this full-fledged, I already have a system intact and I can just get straight to it. All right, because I'm not going to have $150,000 a year job to fall back on. So I need to make sure that process is smooth from the jump, right? Then maybe you want to say, I've done the cargo van thing, so next weekend I'm going to go to Penske, or I'm going to go to Enterprise. I'm going to rent a 26-footer. All right, I'm going to rent a 26-footer. I'm going to try GoShare load. I'm going to try Mothership. I'm going to try something. Now, I might be wanting to do middle mount OTR, but these will give me an idea what it's like, using my pallet jack, backing into the loading dock, just everything that you're going to do once you're out there. This will give you an opportunity to do it while you still have your job on the weekend, but you're teaching yourself the industry, because guess what? You might get out there and do the gig work and say, you know what, this ain't for me. This is more than what I thought it would be. I don't see myself doing this 5 or 6 days a week. You know what I'm saying? So, you can utilize a lot of these gig apps to test the waters in the box truck industry before you fully commit and leave your job and then invest into this industry. All right. Be flexible and budget. All right. Be flexible and budget. Now, what do I mean by be flexible? All right. Like, you have some careers where, or some jobs rather, where, one of the main things they're hiring on, they ask you at the interview, man, you have a flexible schedule. Some jobs want you to have a flexible schedule, right? The reason why is because some businesses, you need to be flexible to meet the demands of the business, right? Now, when you're your own business owner, you really have to be flexible, especially during the initial stages of building your business. You don't have the comfortability to turn stuff away, or I ain't taking that, and you ain't been in the game that long to have that comfortability. You trying to recoup, and you just left the job. All right, so you got to get it. You got to get it all. You're not in that position to turn nothing away. You got to be flexible. All right, you have to meet the demands of the business. All right, you could be running middle mile, and you might not have nothing scheduled. You don't see nothing on the board for tomorrow, and then boom, something pops up. Are you willing to just get up and go? You got your bag ready? You need to have your bag ready at all times. Same thing with Amazon. You do your posted truck. You post your truck from this time to that time. That means you have to be available. You got to be flexible. You have to meet the demands of the business. Same thing with moving. All right, you may just start your moving company. It's just you, your truck, and your two guys on your crew. All right, so you're not booked every day. You didn't have nothing scheduled for Monday. All right, so Sunday, you know what? I don't have anything scheduled. I'm going to spend all day with my girlfriend, or you're going to spend all day with your boyfriend, whatever. All right. And then boom, you get a call at 5 p.m. Hey, so-and-so movers, I had a move scheduled with another company tomorrow at 9 a.m. They just called and canceled and said their truck broke down. Can you take it? It's a 4-bedroom house. Now here's a $2,000 plus move. This could be a $3,000 or $4,000 move, depending on where it's point A to point B and how much material you use and how much you charge for labor. Now you already done promised your girl or your guy that you're going to spend all day. Y'all going to go shopping. Y'all going to go out to breakfast. Y'all going to go shopping. Y'all going to go have dinner. Y'all going to catch a movie. Now she's all geeked and stuff because y'all haven't been spending much time because you've been building this business for the past few months. So you've been really, really at it. So you made this plan. Now you got to, what you going to do? You going to turn that money away? It's a 4-bedroom house. You charging $250 an hour. You know it's going to be at least 10 hours. She said, man, they got 4 bedrooms, armor. They got stuff in the garage. They got stuff all over the place. You got to wrap all this stuff. So you already adding up the material costs. You adding up the labor costs plus the truck fee. Now you already made this promise. You going to go get that money, or you going to stick to that promise? All right. A real entrepreneur, especially one that's starting out, they're going to go get that money. They're going to go get that money. All right. They got to be flexible, especially starting out. You got to recoup the money that you put in. You knew. And you just quit your job, right? Budget. You got to budget. The money that you got coming in, you got to put it to good use. All right. You got to put it to good use. Remember, you quit your job. So you got some money in the kitty. You got some money in the nest that you're living off on, right? But you're seeing some money coming in for your business. But that doesn't mean go splurge it. All right. That doesn't mean go splurge it, because you always have to prepare for the unexpected. Another reason why a lot of people get into trouble early, they don't never prepare for the unexpected. And I see why they don't prepare for the unexpected, because no one's telling them this. No one's telling them be prepared for the unexpected, because the unexpected is always going to happen. It's always going to happen. You're not going to have a business where it's just going to be sunny days every day. And guess what? On those gloomy days are gloomy. You're going to have back-to-back gloomy days. It's going to seem like, man, one thing is going to be one thing after another. It happens. It happens to the best of them. All right. So make sure you're putting that money to good use and you're putting it up for those rainy days. All right. Shadow experience. All right. Shadow experience. What does this mean? All right. Mentorship, coaching, things of that nature. All right. There's nothing wrong with coming to YouTube and finding a content creator that is experienced in whatever it is you're entering. If you know somebody, there's nothing wrong with shadowing them. And I'm not saying pay somebody. There's plenty of information. All right, there's a lot of information. It may be hard to dig to find really good information and free information, because I know a lot of people are selling things nowadays. But, I'm here 3 days a week on live, giving free information for hours. So I'm pretty sure there's other people out there like myself. I think if you dig hard enough, you'll find good information. You may be able to pull a little information from this source, a little information from that source, a little information from this source, then put it all together with the information, all the information that you gather, and then the thoughts that are going in your head, always do your due diligence. Don't just take someone's word for it. Always go behind them and still do your due diligence. But, pulling a little bit from everywhere. And then if you have somebody in your family that has a little experience, or if you have a family member that knows someone that has a little experience, always keep your ears open and take in knowledge every day. Never stop learning. Even though I've been in this industry for a while, I never stopped learning. And even though I'm not involved in it all the way like I was, back in my early days, I never stopped learning. Once you become a part of something and you made so much money for something, you become entrenched in it. I'm entrenched in trucking. I'm entrenched in it because it made me who I am. I made a lot of money off of it. I made a lot of money off trucking. I'm entrenched in it. I can't turn my back on trucking because it made me who I am. Everything, all the nice things that I've had in life came from trucking. Shadow people that can help, that can give you good information, kind of be that catalyst, give you those pros, give you those cons. You know what I'm saying? A lot of situations I think a lot of people can avoid if they have someone that they can shadow that's just knowledgeable in that field. People hit little roadblocks and they don't know what to do when they hit the roadblock. But if they had someone that's hit this roadblock before, one, they could have prevented it, or two, so-and-so told me about this, that this eventually was going to happen, but it's cool. No fret. I know what to do. You know what I'm saying? So, make sure you're doing your due diligence. And I'm telling you this, you don't have to pay nobody if you don't want to. You just may have to do a little bit digging, because guess what? You may pay somebody, you may not get value. You may pay someone and get value. You may not have the money to pay someone, but if you take the time and do a deep dive, you should be able to pull little trinkets from here, little trinkets from there, and put it all together and formulate an opinion. And then you should be able to go forward and then, put your own little sauce on it and, keep it moving. But, find someone or find multiple people that you can gather information from. All right. Start your business. All right. What is this? My bad. Pride and service junk removal for pride and service. Hey, I appreciate it. Pair character line on the side, raising his arm while saying, "How's it going?" What does this mean? Pair character lying on the side, raising his arm while saying, "How's it going?" I don't know. But I appreciate the super sticker. All right. Start your business before exiting your job. All right. So this goes back to what I was talking about earlier. All right. You want to start your business before you leave your job. So when you're off work in the evenings, on the weekends, whenever you're not at your job, you want to build that business in all your free time. All right. So now if you ultimately decide to exit your job, you don't want to exit your job on one day, right? And then, okay, you leave your job, you got your what's today? December 15th. So you already gave your 2 weeks. Tomorrow, December 16th, Friday is your last day. And then Monday, right, the 19th, you say, all right, well, Monday I'm going to go to Secretary of State and get my LLC. No, you want to have all that done already. You want to have your business structured. You want to have everything ready to go. So if tomorrow is your last day, then Monday is your first day ready to roll. Business structured, already set up, ready to go. You want to build your business before you exit your job. You want to transition smoothly. There's a GIF on the super sticker that I guess you can't see. No, I can't see it. I can't see it. I'm streaming from a new platform. So I guess this platform is not allowing me to. Oh, you know what? I got it on this screen. Yeah, I see it. A little. How's it going with a little thing moving his head? Yeah, I see it on the other screen. I see it. Appreciate that, pride and service. Appreciate that. Yeah, so getting back to this, you want to start your business before exiting. You don't want to exit the job and then start building the business. You want to have that smooth transition because you're working on your money that you got saved, put away in the nest egg. So, you want to get straight to it. You want to start generating money as soon as possible, because you don't want to, like I said, then start building the business, because while you're building the business, obviously you're not making money. You want to jump from one thing to another, generating income. All right. So now that was a Martha Mentor approach. Things that if I were in a person's shoes right now and I was looking to leave my job, I would look at. All right. So hopefully someone, gained something from that. But let's get back to statistics. Now, if you're a person who's looking to leave your job to get into the box truck space, I want you guys to remember this 50%. Stick it on your vision board if you got one. All right. Stick it on your vision board. 50% of all new businesses fail within the first 5 years. I know it's 20% in the first year, 30% in the second year, but those numbers are low. Those numbers don't scare people. See, I want to scare people, and the reason why I want to scare you, what I'm saying, is because when you remember these numbers, you put it on your vision board, you're going to do everything in your power to not fall into this statistic. You're going to do everything in your power not to fall into this statistic. All right. So this is something you want to keep in mind. Half of the people that start a business fail within the first 5 years. And I'm going to tell you why. A few months ago, I did a live presentation on the 5 stages of growth, right? 5 stages of growth, right? What are the 5 stages? You got existence, you got survival, right? You got success, right? You got takeoff, right? And then you got resource maturity. All right. So here's what happens. After that success phase, between that survival phase and the success phase, what happens is after a person survives like the first 2 years or so, they may be making a little money, but they really haven't reached that success phase yet, and they think they reached it. All right. So what happens is they start living like, they're this big time successful entrepreneur, and they're not. And they start spending money that they shouldn't be spending. And then what happens is what we talked about a few minutes ago. They get hit with something. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be box trucking. It could be, you could have a restaurant. Your roof could collapse. The restaurant can catch on fire. You can get hit with a big lawsuit. You could be in any business and get hit with a big lawsuit. You get hit with the right lawsuit, it'll take you under. You could have an economic downturn. A lot of restaurants went out of business the first few months of the pandemic. It's a lot of restaurants that are no longer here because of the pandemic. You know what I'm saying? So, you gotta save your money. You have to save your money. I can't express that enough. The reason why a lot of business owners fail, that don't fail due to like economic issues, technology issues, things that are beyond their control, they kill their own business because they overspend on things that they don't need to spend on. And they forget about the what ifs. And then when the what ifs happen, they scrambling. They don't have the money. They don't have enough money, because they got this restaurant, or they got this clothing store, but they got the big S600 Maybach in the front because they just want that look. They want that look, so while they paying $2,700 on the Maybach, they spent $180,000 on that car, right? That $2,700 could be going into the nest egg for the business, stacking for this unforeseen event that's going to happen. All that's going to come later on down the line. You can get all that later on down the line. And like I said in a previous video before, you'll know when it's time for it. You'll know when it's time for that. You'll know when it's time for that. You'll know when it's time to get that. A lot of people pride themselves on treating themselves far too soon. And I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen since I've been on YouTube, just talking to people that sign up for coaching. When I break it down to figure out why they're not making money in this, and I said, no, you got to tell me everything. I've talked to people that have been in that situation. And if it wasn't that situation, they scaled their business too quickly. You know what I'm saying? Because what happened is between that survival and that success phase, they may be making a little money or they may be breaking even. And then a person who just really doesn't have business history or maybe not the right coach or right mentor, they start thinking, well, if I go add a second truck, then I'll make money. Okay, well, you haven't figured out how to make money in the first truck. So adding a second truck is just going to increase your losses by 2. If you add a third truck, now you're going to increase your losses by 3. If you haven't figured out a way to make money in the first truck, what makes you think you're going to make money in the second truck? Well, if I'm breaking even, I'm just taking a little loss in the first truck. So if I add the second truck, that's going to be my profit. No, it don't work like that. You haven't figured out how to make money in the first truck. I've seen that happen to people. They go out and get 3, 4, 5 trucks, and now they're operating times 5 at the loss. All right. So a lot of people fail between that survival and that success phase because they kind of get caught up in the wrong things. So don't fall victim to that. If you got a vision board, stick this on your vision board that 50% of all businesses fail within the first 5 years. And I guarantee you, you're going to do everything in your power not to fall into this statistic. All right, so here's some pros and some cons that I put together. It's a lot of pros and cons, guys. It's a lot of pros and cons that I could throw up here, but like I said, I had to really narrow this down because this presentation was really, really long. I'm trying to cut these lives down some. So let's go over the ones that I think are the most important. 1, pro, being your own boss. Yes, that's a pro. All right. You don't have anyone looking over your shoulder. You don't have to be somewhere if you don't want to be there. If you want to be there, you're there. If you don't want to be there, you're not there. You can go to the bathroom when you want to. You could go to lunch when you want to. You don't have to check in with someone. You don't have to request for time off. I'm taking the family to Disneyland. You think I can get the week of the 10th off? Well, we got to see. There's another person who's taking their kids on vacation that same week. So we'll let you know in a week, or you don't have to deal with none of that. All right. So, it's pros and cons to everything, but there's nothing like entrepreneurship. There's nothing like it in the world, but there's pros and cons to everything. Now here's con. Harder, longer hours. All right. Now, that may be a con to some, but we're talking about leaving your job to start a box truck business. All right. So we're looking at it from that aspect. All right. So looking at it from that aspect, when you have a job, you go there, 8 hours, some 10 hours, 12 hours. So somewhere between 8 to 10 hours, 8 to 12 hours, 4 to 5 days a week. All right. You go 9 to 5, 5 o'clock, you clock out. Once you leave, you don't have to think about that job. You don't worry about that job till you get back there tomorrow at 9 o'clock. All right. That's it. When you have your own business, you're going to work, especially initially, especially at the initial phase of starting, even more especially if you're leaving a job to start one. All right. You're going to work long, hard hours. All right. You're going to work very, very hard. All right. My early stages, I worked hard, but it didn't bother me though. So that's the flip coin to working for someone and working for yourself. And the initial phase, you're going to work extremely hard, long days, long nights. Now, if you're running that middle mile, all right, we know you got the 14 hours. So let's say you're running middle mile, you're 14 hours, you're in your hotel, all right, you can't drive no more. If you're starting out, then once you get back to that hotel or you sleeping at that truck stop, now you're on your laptop looking for some more loads to schedule for the rest of the week. That don't mean go to sleep. Take your shower, eat your whatever, and go to sleep. No, you got to be on that computer looking for these loads. You still working. If you started a Amazon business, same thing. You're working. Final mile. You're working. You're on the internet. You're looking at Mark the Mentor. You're looking at this guy. You're looking at that guy, learning. You're still new. You need to get all the information and sauce that you can get. The learning don't stop. You busting your behind. If you on a moving truck, because that's how I started moving, man, I remember doing 3 moves a day. All right. I remember doing 3 moves a day. It was plenty days where the days would end at 9, 10. We headed back to park the truck to go home 9, 10 o'clock at night after doing the 3rd move. I remember getting those calls. Hey, I saw your ad on Craigslist. You know, I had a mover scheduled for 5. They didn't show up. They called at 7 and said they were running late. They were stuck on this other move. Then they called at 8 and said they were still coming. Now it's 10 o'clock and I haven't heard, or it's 9 o'clock and they stopped answering the phone for me. My lease is up today. I have to be out by midnight. Someone else is moving in here in the morning. Whatever it takes, can you guys please do one more move? It's late. I'm begging you. I had these calls. I'm look over. Man, it's customer, man. I know it's late. Y'all want to do one more? I know we got to be back up at 7. We got 3 more tomorrow. Y'all want to do one more? Man, Mark, it's up to you. You driving. You know what Mark did? Turned that truck around and went and got that. Mark went and got that money. I was a beast. When I was 29, 30, what? I was a beast. I went to go get that. All right? I wouldn't turn nothing away. I worked hard. So now my day ended at 1 in the morning, 1:30, 2 in the morning. Back up at 6:37. You're going to work long, hard days. Why? One, I needed that money. I knew I had plans. In order for me to get them plans, I couldn't leave nothing on the table. I wasn't willing to leave nothing on the table. If someone's offering it to me, I got to go get it. I have to go get it. Another quick story. I'll never forget this. First year running. I'm still running on the gig thing. I'm not licensed or nothing yet. I was on a date. That ad, you know, back then you put an ad on Craigslist. You put one ad, people call you all day. I was on a date. It was later in the evening. Person called me. I answered. Yeah, I saw your ad on Craigslist. I got a dresser. I just need to move it a few blocks up the road. All right, well, I'll come do it tomorrow. No, I only got to be done tonight. This is the last thing. I moved myself, but, you know, this is the only thing I couldn't move by myself. It's got to be done today. My lease is up. I got to be out. I'm on a date. I'm like, okay, $100. It was right, not too far from where we were at. I told her, like, man, once we leave here, I need to go get it. Now, in my head, I'm like, wait a minute, she might not go back out with me no more after this. But I didn't care. I had to go get that. I had to go get it. You know what I'm saying? So long hours. I didn't care where I was at. I was engulfed in the business. I liked the business, and that's why I became successful at it. You know, I entrenched myself into the business. I wasn't turning nothing away. And I think, and with that, it, you know, especially in the summertime, because moving is a seasonal business, at least here, because we have cold winters. No one moves here in the winter. It's dead now, you know. So April, May really gets busy. May, June, July, August, September is nonstop. All right. This was a slow year due to the economy, probably the slowest year I've had. But, you know, for the most part, it's booming. All right. So it was plenty of days I worked long hours. All right. So you guys have to understand that if you're going to leave a job, you're going to have to put that time in. All right. So that can be a con, but to me, it was a pro. I didn't care. You know, I was very ambitious in my early years, and I was hungry. You know, so next, let's go with another pro. Create your own wealth. Now, this is something that I see a lot of content creators and a lot of influencers on Instagram. This is how they push it. Create your own wealth. And that's true. You can create your own wealth. You can most definitely create your own wealth if you leave your job and start your box truck business. Now, the con of you leaving your job, well, let's say the pro of you staying on your job is you got that job security. All right. You go there, they're going to pay you. You work, they're going to pay you. All right. You've been on your job too long enough to know. And then here's the thing. If you're sick, you call off, they're going to pay you. You got hours. All right. And let's say if you short on your hours, you've been on your job, you know how to go and maneuver and get enough done, be productive just enough so that they're not looking over your shoulder. You might be BSing most of the day because you out of it, but you know how to be productive just enough to get through the day so you can get paid for that day. All right. You got that job security versus, you know, when you're at the job. Now, on the flip coin of starting your own business, creating your own wealth, you may not get paid. And I'm not speaking to the aspect, and hit that like button for me, guys. Hit that like button. Let me know you still with me here. Hit that like button. You may not get paid. And I'm not speaking from a point where, okay, you go do a job and you don't get paid. Like I talked in that video I did 2 days ago about the Christmas trees. I'm not speaking from that aspect. You're a business owner now. You're a business owner now. When I say not getting paid, I mean you're actually getting your settlements from the companies that you're running for. You're getting those checks, but you may not be profitable. And as the business owner, even if it's just you and your own truck, you get paid last. When you go to work, you may BS the whole week at work and still get paid. You're going to still get paid. You go work a full week as your own box truck owner, operator, running middle mile, let's say OTR, and you haven't figured out how to be profitable yet. Everything gets paid before you do. So let's talk about it. You run for a week, you gross $5,000. You gross $5,000. Now, after all your fixed costs and after all your variable costs, you got $1,000 left. Now, here's another thing, and I talked about this before, where a lot of people get into trouble. When I do a lot of coaching sessions, here's where they get into trouble. I have to figure out why they're not making money. They come to me, Mark, I'm not making money. I have to figure out, break everything down. All right, so how much did you gross? All right, gross 5,000. All right, after all your costs, what was left? So I netted 1,000. All right, what did you pay yourself? 1,000. All right, what did you pay the company? 1,000. So what did you pay yourself? 1,000. So what did you pay the company? 1,000. Wait a minute, hold on. How'd you pay the company 1,000 if you said only 1,000 left and you paid yourself 1,000? That's 2,000. Well, I am the company. No, you're not. You are the company, but you're not. You still got to pay yourself. Well, I had 1,000 left. That's what I get paid. No, it's not. So what did the company get? 1,000. So then I have to explain to people about sustainability and cash flow. No, you have to pay yourself. Okay, if it's $1,000 left, out of that 1,000, right? What are you going to pay yourself? Because you can't pay yourself the whole 1,000 because you got to leave something in the business for sustainability. You got to have cash flow. Oh, wow. So that's how you do it? Duh. Yeah. So if you got $1,000 left, right? Are you going to pay yourself $500 and leave $500 for the business? Are you going to pay yourself $250 and leave $750 for the business? Or are you going to pay the business $1,000 because you're running a box truck now? You owe OTR now. All right. Really, you can't afford to pay yourself nothing. So if you gross 5,000, it's 1,000 left. You really can't afford to pay yourself nothing because you run an OTR. What if you get a blowout? What if the truck break down? You know how much a tow is? It might be 50 miles to the next town. That's over $1,000. What if you have a blowout? They got to come from the nearest town with a tire. Tire might be $300, right? Then they charge you $150 an hour to come change it. And they charge you $150 an hour from the moment they leave. They charge you $150 to come out to you, plus $150 hour and 2 hour minimum. And then they charge you another $150 to go back. Talk to me, man. How do I know this? How do I know this? Ask me how I know. They're going to charge you for the tire. That might be $300. They're going to charge you to come to you $150. Then they're going to charge you $150 an hour, but they're going to charge you a 2 hour minimum. Then they're going to charge you another $150. Once they're done, they go back to where they came from. So guess what? If you take that 1,000 that's left and you pay yourself with it, the business has no cash flow. Now you get in this jam and then you don't have no money. So this is what I mean by you may not get paid, because that's one of the weeks where you don't have enough money to pay yourself. You're the business owner now. You get paid last. If the business doesn't make enough money to pay you, the business has to get paid before you, because the business has to sustain. The business needs cash flow to sustain. Anything can happen. You might have gross 5,000 and had 1,000 left, but guess what? You ain't got no gas. So you still need to pump your gas, and you still got to have money in the kitty. The business needs cash flow to sustain. This is where a lot of people get into trouble. But that's another topic. We talking about you might not get paid. So this is a situation. If it was me, I gross 5,000. There's $1,000 left at the end of that week. This probably won't be one of the weeks I can't pay myself, because that 1,000 got to go to the business account for unforeseen incidents. You never know what's going to happen, especially if you're running that OTR. You have to have money for anything. You be on one of them dark roads in the middle of the night and your truck break down in the middle of nowhere. It's not going to be cheap to get a tow, especially if you load it, even if you get a flat for them to bring you out a new tire. See, these parts of the game, these people not teaching you. I'm telling you this from experience because it's happened. All right. So you may not get paid. It's different from a job. You're going to get paid. When you're working for yourself, it's going to be times where you might not be able to pay yourself. It may be times where you take losses. So not only are you not able to pay yourself, you're running negative on the week for yourself and for the business. You know, another stream of revenue. That's a pro. So let's talk about, this is a situation, good example of people who want to enter into the space, who want to keep their job and they want to just add an additional stream of revenue. I know quite a few people that enter into the space in 2020 that saw all those influencers preaching this, and they did it, and all those people now are no longer in the business. Trucks gone, sold. You know what I'm saying? Didn't last 6 months. None of them last 6 months. I'm talking about the people I knew personally. They were all women. They were all women who wanted this financial freedom of, oh, I'm gonna get a truck and I'm gonna put a driver in and I'm gonna make $25 extra $100 a week. And these are people that were brought. Some of them I knew. Some of them were referred to me. This is before YouTube. These are just people. Hey, Mark, my homegirl, she want to get a truck, man. She got a few questions. I told her, and I told them all. I said, you're not gonna be able to find a driver. I got a driver already. I said, well, he ain't gonna stick around too long. I'm not hating. I'm just being honest. You know what I'm saying? Guess what? 3 months later, 4 months. Hey, Mark, remember you want my girl, man? She got that truck, man. Yeah, man. You want to buy it? No, man, I don't want that truck. Why not? What's wrong? Man, we had a driver. He worked 1 week. Then we had another driver set for a month. Then we found another driver. He worked 1 day. And man, it's been sitting ever since. You can't find nobody to drive it. So, a pro is the additional income, but a con is, drivers are hopping seat to seat. All right. So now if you have your job and you invest in a truck, right, as an additional stream of revenue, you're not driving that truck. All right. And if that truck is sitting, you're losing money. All right. So, that's the con, that the truck may have long periods where it's sitting and not moving, because if there's no driver in the truck, you're not making money and you have your job. You have no interest in driving the truck. So that's the pro and the con on if you're looking to purchase a truck as an additional stream of income. Drivers is going to be your biggest challenge. Finding drivers, keeping drivers is going to be your biggest challenge. All right, so periods of truck sitting, I spoke on that. Let's talk about load boards, Amazon final mile moving. These are some pros. These are the opportunities, which are all pros, that you can make great money in the box truck space. Go ahead and hit that like button for me. Let me know you guys are still with me here. Let me know you're still with me. Hit that like button for me. 66 people in here. It looks like 44 likes. Go ahead and hit them like buttons for me, guys. I really appreciate it. Load boards, Amazon final mile moving. All these are things where you can make great money in, right? You can make great money in. Now, and for a person who's looking to leave their job, I know these are the things that are promoted the most. All right. I see a lot of promotion for Amazon, a lot of promotion middle mile, not too much for final mile. But you see people promoting final mile, not too much for moving either. These are more labor intensive industries, but the earning potential is great. You know what I'm saying? So Amazon, load board, middle mile, I see more, people promoting it, all the earning potential. Now let's talk about the flip side. All right. If I was leaving my job, I see the Amazon, I see the make 7 figures renting box trucks, and I see all that, but I don't ever see the flip coin. And the flip coin about leaving your job to start any business, I don't care if you're starting a horseback riding business. All right. The flip coin is going to always be uncertainty. Always be uncertainty. Always there's going to be that uncertainty that's should be in the back of your mind. It should be. You're going to always hope for the best, but you still got to prepare for the worst. So let's talk about it. I'm not going to go deep because I said we got to make this quick and short. We'll be here all night. I'm going to give you 2 things for uncertainty. All right. One we're dealing with now. All right. Uncertainty, economic downturn. All right. In any business, a lot of business can get affected by economic downturn. You have to prepare, you have to do research, you have to make sure that you have a solid proof, a strong business plan to help as much as possible prevent your business from failing due to economic downturn. Now, I know it's not, it's a difficult feat, but you need to know that this exists. The other thing is technology. And this is what a lot of people miss, technology. You need to research your business to see, what your plan is. Do you have a long-term plan for this business? Or do you have a short-term plan for this business? All right. You may have a long-term plan of 20, 25 years. You may say, I'm going to build this business and pass it down to the next generation. And when this may not be a business that may not be around in the next generation, you need to do the research to know this. You may want to jump into a specific area of this business, and within 5 years, that area may not exist anymore. All right. But you're building this business up. It might take you 3 years to become profitable and really become successful, only to 2 years to be put out of business due to technology. You need to know all this. You need to research all this to make sure you're not wasting your time. And if you still want to do it, create a plan. All right. Well, in 10 years, they're saying this is going to be like this. So you know what? Instead of making a 20-year plan, I need to make a 6-year plan. I need to get as much out of it as I can in 6 years. And then when we get into year 10, if they say this is going to happen, by that time, I've already made my money. I've already taken a lot of that money, invested into other streams of revenue that are current, so that if this happens, you know what? I can't really trip. I got my money. I've already created a plan to transition and pivot out of it. At that time, a lot of people get caught up by technology and it wipes them out. I always talk about this. We always talk about, I give the same examples over and over and over and again. And it happens. It's a repeated cycle, in all industries. People get, they get caught up in the moment, right? They're living in the moment. They may be successful. All right. They living in the moment of success, and they're not thinking ahead, not looking ahead for the future. And then boom, some guy that's sitting right now in his basement with 10 screens up and typing a zillion miles per hour, coding and building and building and building. And he's sitting there and he's got his energy drink and he's typing and he's building and he's coding. He's going to be the person that's going to put you out of business in 7 to 8 years. You got to know this, because you don't want to create something and because you didn't do your due diligence, you didn't do your research, and you got this long-term business plan for something that may not be around for the long term. So you may need to readjust your plan for a short-term business plan, really work aggressively at it, get as much out of it as you can in a shorter term, and be prepared that if this technology does come into fruition, you already have a plan, you've made your money, and you can pivot and transition out of it and not get caught left holding the bag like so many people do in so many businesses. All right. All right. So that's the stream, guys. I mean, not the stream, but that's the presentation. Let me pull this up here. All right. So I hope everyone got something out of that approach and out of that pros and cons. Like I said, I can't tell you, leave your job, start a box truck business. You got to make that decision on your own. But hopefully some of those points that I hit, as far as the approach and then the pros and cons, will kind of help you, I guess, make a decision for yourself. I'm going to go back up. I'm going to answer some of these questions, and then we're going to get on up out of here. We got Houston in the building. Trucking is here to stay, but doesn't mean that a human is going to be driving it. We didn't talk about that. That wasn't the aspect of this live, but trucking is not going anywhere, but trucking is definitely going to change over time. It's going to change over time. In all lanes, it's going to change. It's going to change over time. But that wasn't the point of this live. The point of this live is should you leave your job to start a box trucking business? Houston in the building rather. Running a business is not a joke. It's definitely not a joke. Similar to stock market. how long will he or she want to float you? I guess you're talking about the part where I was talking about like the spouse. You know what I'm saying? That's a good point. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're married with kids and things of that nature. You know, that money, you know, it can go like that. You know, anything can happen in business. You never know. You may not just have a smooth transition from exiting your career into starting this business and just start making money. You may be met with challenges. So outside of the initial cost of you running the business, you may get met with challenges early on, which you may have to dig further into the kitty to invest more money. All right. So you're right. You know, that's a difficult decision. If this is the part of the stream where you were talking about, when I was talking about the spouse, um, um, floating the spouse as far as them starting their business. That risk tolerance, you gotta, for a person who's probably married in a situation where they're just not rich, they're probably gonna have a lower risk tolerance. Appreciate it, JM. I like the cheating analogy. Appreciate it. Make the business your baby. Treat it like a baby. Yes, sir. All facts. Gloomy indeed. Why so serious? Serious Lanes in the building. What's going on, my man? Thank you for joining in. Let's see here. What else you got? What else you got here? Do you ever set daily cash goals, or do you just go about the day, or you get what you can get? So in the moving business, it's hard to kind of gauge what your daily cash goals are going to be, because all moves are different. You never know. And then with moving, like, especially in this market, you may get met with obstacles. You may be a small 1-bedroom move, but there's some streets, some areas of Chicago that don't have alleys. So if it's a narrow street, right, if it's a narrow street and no alley, and then it's like a up north where there's just nowhere to park the truck got to double park really, really close. It may be enough room for cars to swing by, real tight. But guess what? If a FedEx truck or a UPS truck comes down the block, that truck got to move. I was on a job in 2020 where I had to move the truck 19 times during the move because there was no alley. All right. So I couldn't park in the alley. The street was up north. So it's really populated up north. There was no parks on the street. So I had to double park, and cars could swing past, but trucks couldn't. So I had to move the truck 19 times on that move. I had to circle the block, which took the job even longer. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of hard to gauge, what you're going to make on certain jobs, because you may be met with certain obstacles. Now, as far as final amount, yeah, you can gauge what you're making on that because it's per stop. You know what I'm saying? So you can kind of figure out, okay, this truck has this many stops, this truck has that many stops, and you kind of know day to day what you're going to make. Yeah, I figured that one out. Reality check. Did you ever set that? I answered that one. She better see that hustle. Wow, if she didn't, let's see. Jimmy Conway in the building. Crumbs make bricks. Yes, they do. It would actually be a great topic to discuss what significant others can do to help encourage, uplift, etc. someone in trucking industry. Well, me not being married, I can only speak on it from a dating aspect. You know what I'm saying? So in the past 10 years, I've been past 12, 13 years, I've been in 2 long-term 4-year relationships. And I can tell you real quickly, the first one was the beginning of me building the business. A lot of long days, didn't see this person, got yelled at a lot, couldn't really meet up with this person after a long day of working and moving and things of that nature. Okay, let's meet up. We'll meet them up. By that time, 10, 11 o'clock, I'm tired. So I'm sitting there on the date at a restaurant eating, but my eyes are low. I've been doing physical labor all day. So, and then, in the summertime when it was really busy, it's like I'm gone early and I'm coming back very, very late. So, some people, some people will support people that really work hard, that are ambitious, but then some people, I think, they want that traditional relationship where, you're both home at 5 and 6 and you make dinner together and you do all that stuff. Man, when you're an entrepreneur, like, especially initially starting a business, like, if you're really ambitious and you really on that grind, like how I was, and I hope like how all you guys are, man, like, you're gonna have to make some sacrifices. I made a lot of sacrifices, you know what I'm saying? And you got to find a person that's going to support you, especially in those early stages, because you're not going to spend a lot of time with them. If it's going to be a person who's going to nag you and complain about you not spending time with them, then it's going to make for frustrating. It's going to make it frustrating for you because you're worrying about how they feel, and that may not be the person for you. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say it may not be the person for you as an entrepreneur, especially in the early phases. It gets greater later, but at the beginning, man, a lot of time is invested. So hit that like button, guys. Hit that like button. Let me know you're checking in from. Hit that like button, please. I really appreciate it. Company has to eat, right? So it's like I always tell people, like, a lot of people really don't understand that part about business. Like, you got to pay yourself, you got to pay the business. The business has to sustain. You have to have cash flow. You can't, by you taking the money and not knowing how to pay yourself, thinking you're paying yourself, thinking you are the business, right? What you're doing is you're robbing from the sustainability of the business. You're robbing from the sustainability of the business. And then it always happens. Something happens and then there's no money there. There's no money there because you've been robbing your own business the whole time. You know, sometimes you got to put all the money into the business. If you gross $5,000 and there's only $1,000 left and you run middle mile and you're new and you don't really have a deep bank account for that business, then man, that whole 1,000 got to go in it. Because see, I know 1,000 is not no money. When you're in trucking, this ain't no money, especially if you're running that OTR. Anything can happen out there. It's different running OTR when things happen on the road versus running local. Your tolls are going to be more expensive. A lot of things. You get a flat, you know, that's going to be more expensive. You know, anything can happen. If you got a load and the truck breaks down, it's got to get towed to the nearest town. Now they got to send a recovery truck to pick that load up from you. They're going to charge you for that. You see what I'm saying? So you got to have that bread. You got to have that money. And that money got to be ready. Ain't no calling back. Hey, man, truck broke down, man. Where you at? Shit, I don't know. It's dark as hell out here. I could tell you that. I'm in the middle. I remember I saw the Arkansas sign about an hour ago. I'm somewhere in Arkansas. But man, my phone, I ain't getting no signal, man. This phone, it might cut off on me, man. You know what I'm saying? All the things of that nature, man. Can you send me $2,000, man? Because I know, man, you ain't got no money. You been driving this truck for the past 3 months. What you been doing with all the money? All what money? Been paying yourself. What you mean all what money? We went to the club last week. You said, man, don't worry about it. Drinks was on you. So if you buying all the drinks, how come you ain't got no money to get the truck towed to the nearest town? You see what I'm saying? So company got to eat, man. So the company got to eat. You're the last person to get paid. You're the last person to get paid. And I don't think a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people don't understand that. Amazon run at 2 a.m., pulled off the road to fill a Gatorade bottle, not realizing I was driving through farmland, and lost 2 hours and $550 because truck was in the mud. See, that's a good example. I gave an example the other day where I had a guy get stuck in the snow at the same drop off in the same position 2 days in a row. You know what I'm saying? So things happen, things happen. He pulled off the road to use the washroom, or to fill a gate, I guess, to use the bathroom, and got stuck in the snow. Got stuck in the mud. Things happen. He probably had to have somebody come winch you out of that. $550. Just logging in, ATL residing, but born and raised Southside Chicago in the building. Southside in the building. Where you at on the south side? Over east? Where at? Get it while the getting is good. Definitely get it while the getting is good. And that's in any business. You got to get it while the getting is good. Nothing lasts forever. I don't care what nobody tells you. Nothing lasts forever. All right? Nothing lasts forever. Nothing. All right. So if you're having a really good run in business, you have to know, and you got to know business, understand business, and you got to realize that you're in the midst of your run. You got to realize, listen, this is my run. This is like if you go to casino and you play blackjack and you on a run. You won the last 9 hands. You on the run. You getting 20s, 21s, 19s, you getting 8 and 3, you doubling down, they flipping over a face card. You on your run. So guess what? When you see you on your run, you add more money. You ain't playing the minimum no more. So knowing you on your run in business, you're maximizing the opportunity. You're getting as much out of it as you can. You're making all the money that you can, and you're stacking it. You got to realize and understand when you are on your run, when you're seeing your peak, what we call in the 5 stages of growth, your takeoff phase. Your takeoff phase. Nothing you can do. You can't do nothing wrong. Nothing. It's like, man, the opportunities are coming. You're not even looking for the opportunities. They coming to you. I know when my takeoff phase was. I remember it. And when it happened to me, I realized what was going on at that time. I couldn't do nothing wrong. Nothing. The phone was ringing with just opportunity. You know what I'm saying? I was smart enough because I had a situation prior to having my takeoff that I realized when my takeoff come, God put me in that situation where he took something from me to prep me so that when he gave me that run, I knew that run wasn't going to last forever. So when it got there, I did what I was supposed to do when it was there. I didn't misuse the opportunity. I stacked all that money. I invested into things, created other streams of revenue because I knew that it wasn't going to last forever. So people have to recognize and realize their takeoff phase. And when it happens, you got to do, what you're supposed to do with that money while they're getting is good, because it's not going to last forever. Let me blow this up some. All right, suggesting the profit first method, where you immediately divide funds coming into separate accounts based on a percent, such as 10% profit, 15% taxes, 30% maintenance, 25% expenses, 5% marketing, etc. The profit first method, yeah. I've never used the profit for first method, but it is a good for a person who needs a model to follow. Then I think the profit first method is a good model for someone to follow. Adjust as you go, but you get a better idea of exactly where your money goes and what you may keep. Exactly. Is having a 16-foot or 24-foot box truck a good investment? Now, this is another question I get asked a lot. And I made a lot of money in the 2010s with 16-footers. All right. The 16-footer now, and this is just my opinion, don't shoot me or shoot the messenger or whatever this term is. This is from being in the industry, seeing the industry evolve from the time that I've been in it up until now. All right. 24-foot box truck is cool. You can, a lot of companies say we need a 26-foot. Some say 24 or 26. Some that say 26, you can sneak a 24-foot in. It's not like they're out there with a measuring tape and gonna dock you for 2 inches. You can sneak it in. You may see some companies that may be sticklers, but for the most part, you can sneak a 24-footer in on a 26-foot job. And then there's a way to still get all the pallets on. All right. With a 16-footer, in my opinion, in today's times, I've used this example before, so I apologize to people who watch all my lives. The 16-footer now is like a middle child. That's how I look at the 16-footer. With e-commerce, right, and the boom of e-commerce and the opportunity that e-commerce provides on the final mile parcel side, the smaller parcel side of final mile, not the big and bulky, the smaller parcel side of final mile, paralleled, and that's with dedicated deliveries, right? Paralleled with gig opportunities, right? Because I talk about this all the time. Retailers are looking for ways to get the consumers the goods quicker, right? Because ultimately that's who the consumer decides who they're going to buy said item with, whoever can get it to them the fastest, right? So the 16 footer is just too much truck for the final mile parcel freight, right? As far as dedicated and gig, it's just too much truck. But then it's not enough truck, right, for all the other things that, box trucking, right, opportunities are available. You can't, Amazon in some markets are letting you run the 16-foot cube, but if you have a 16-foot with a ramp, then you really can't do nothing, because then what if you get a post office? You see what I'm saying? So it's got to be a 16-foot cube, like an Isuzu with a lift gate, right? You can't do nothing with a E350 box truck cutaway or Chevy Express 16-foot box truck cutaway. You can't really do that with Amazon because there's no lift gates on those. Those are ramps, right? So you can't really do Amazon with it. You can't really do. You can do middle mile, I guess, partials, but like, how much opportunity is going to be on the board for you with a 16-foot box truck? All right, you can do final mile, but your options there now are very limited as well, because the only thing I can see you really doing with a 16-footer account that really caters to it is Select. That's it. You may be able to get some other little small ancillary accounts, but Select is probably the only account that I still see out there that caters to 16-foot box trucks, that has work for 16-foot box trucks. So it's like I said, it's like that middle child. It's too much truck for like the parcel delivery that, the vans are doing now. There's plenty more opportunities for vans, too much truck for that. And then just not enough truck for everything else. So the opportunities are limited, and it's like that middle child. It just gets neglected because it's not the baby and it's not the oldest. So that's how I look at the 16-footer. Any tips on finding workers' comp insurance? I have contracts in the work, but they are asking for that insurance. I have 3 drivers. All right, so I'm assuming you got Progressive, because if you had a broker, you probably wouldn't be asking this question. So if you got Progressive, you don't have a broker, you need to get with a broker. Now, what I'm going to tell you is, I think, who are you working with? Is this with XPO? Because I know XPO requires it, and a few other companies, but you're probably looking at XPO, if I'm not mistaken. Let me know who's asking for this workers' comp, and do you have a broker or not? If you don't have a broker, you need to get with a broker. Now, what I'm going to tell you is workers' comp is very, 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 I can say very 50 more times expensive. So make sure that this account, when you get your quote from your broker for workers' comp, make sure this account is worth it as far as the earning potential, the revenue, because adding workers' comp on 3 drivers, it may the account, and I'm just speaking from my experiences. I've had to turn accounts away because the workers' comp, the request, it just wasn't worth what the earning potential was. So let me answer those questions. Do you have a broker? And let me know what company this is for that's requesting it. Damn, I hear you. Thank you for answering the question. No problem, anytime. Do you need your own authority for box trucks? Yes, you do. Unless you're running, like, let's say you own your own furniture store or something and you bought a box truck to do your own furniture deliveries, then no. But if you're planning on running commercial freight, then yes. This is the truth, brother. As I said earlier, she better recognize that hustle. Yeah, a lot of people, spouses, whether men or women, depending on who's entering into the space, they got to understand that this is an industry initially from the beginning that it's going to involve a lot of time and a lot of sacrifice. And, if they're your partner, they got to be willing to allow you the time to build your business. It's not too late to hit the like button. Yeah, hit that like button for me, guys. We got 61 likes. I appreciate you guys that are in the room that haven't hit that like button. Hit that like button. not asking you for any money or anything, but the time that it takes for me to, put these presentations together and then, present them. I know people get value out of it. That's why I come on here 3 nights a week now. All I'm asking you for a like. It's free, guys. Hit the like button. Doesn't cost you anything. I need to control cost of entry because I plan on cheating on my job until I retire. yeah. You want to cheat on your job? I'm telling everybody to cheat on their job. I need to control cost of entry because I plan on cheating on my job and free. Yeah, controlling cost of entry. Make sure that if you do plan on cheating on your job and ultimately divorcing it after you finish cheating on it, make sure that you have a strategy. Do all your due diligence. Do all your research. Make sure you enter the game. Well, that's another thing, guys. I'm getting away from saying the game industry. Make sure you enter the box truck industry as cost effective as possible. Try to enter it as cheap as possible. It's not a rush. It's not a race. You know what I'm saying? Take your time, exercise some patience, exercise some discipline. Make sure if you're purchasing a truck, make sure you just don't hop out and purchase the first truck because you're anxious to get in, just keep your eye on the classifieds, things of that nature. You don't have to go after the first truck you see, and just really do some deep research. Find yourself a person online or in your life that you may know that can coach you. You don't have to spend any money. There's a lot of free information online, and just take knowledge in and just enter correctly. If you enter correctly, it'll take a lot of stress off of you. There's gonna always be stress with business, but I think the reason why a lot of people put added stress on them because they didn't do the proper due diligence. You know what I'm saying? And they've already invested. Now they got to do back and do research that should have been done prior to them entering. So just enter correctly, and you should do fine. I knew it. I told you it was XPO. I know this trucking stuff. I told you it was XPO. I knew it was XPO. See, I knew it was XPO. XPO. This is a company that I walked away from. I told this story before. I walked away from them, not for the workers' comp, the umbrella they added. They wanted me to add a $3 million umbrella on top of all the insurance I already had. And I told this story before. My broker, when I hit my broker up, I said, Don, I need to add $3 million umbrella. This is the verbiage. I'm emailing you the verbiage for XPO. He said, all right, Mark, give me a day or two. I'm going to talk to Southland. Boom. When he called me back, before he gave me the quote, he said, Mark, the quote is going to be high. Is this account really, is it worth it? This is my broker telling me this. This is how, like, XPO, I mean, as far as, let's do this. XPO is the third largest trucking company in the country. The work is there. All right. The work is there. Work is there in all lanes. All right. You want to do curbside final mile. You want to do big and bulky final mile. They have the RXO Connect board now. It's a digital board. All right. They got the work. They're the third largest trucking company in the country. And then which makes them number one for everything big and heavy. All your curbside final mile, all your palletized items, because number one, which is UPS, and number two, they don't handle those types of deliveries, right? So the work is there. You have to look at, what the opportunity with XPO, what they're paying, all right? And then get with a broker, get your quotes for your workers' comp, and then just compare the two. Workers' comp for 3 people is going to send your insurance up a lot higher. I don't know what city you're in, what state you're in, rather. But once you get those quotes, you really need to take a look at it to see if that opportunity is, if it's worth it. I can't make that, I don't want to deter you from taking on the opportunity, but you really have to look with what they're going to be paying you, and then kind of weigh that with how much more now you're going to be paying on in insurance, and see if it's worth it. If it's worth it to you and you're still making money, then, by all means, but that's just the, XPO, their requirements, as far as their insurance requirements. And if you're running final mile where not curbside, where you're going into the home, then you're gonna have to eat. They're gonna make you get an umbrella too, because now that's more liability, because you're going into the home. Slip and falls, damage to the property, you gotta hook something up, things of that nature. So that may not stop. It may not stop there, but get your quote from your broker, see what it is, and then make your decision from there once you measure it against each other. Workers' comp is very expensive. Yeah, like I said, that's I already knew when she said she had a contract. I already knew what company it was with. That's why I said I bet you it's XPO. What's your best advice on how to get a truck once all your documents are complete? Depends. That question can be answered one of two ways. You looking to buy a truck, or you looking to rent a truck? Buy a truck or rent a truck? If you're looking to rent a truck, then you just need to go to one of the big four and get on that waiting list that they got. Get on that waiting list, and I don't know what the rates are now. I don't hear too much people talking about rental trucks anymore. I hear more people saying they're exiting than getting in right now, and other people I talk to have been in, and they're just trying to stay above water. But I don't know what these rates are. Last time I heard, the average was about $1,500 a week. A lot of money down and a bunch of other stipulations. So, but it is a waiting list. Simple as that. Go and see what their protocols are now. If you want to buy a truck, I say keep an eye on Penske used trucks. Keep an eye on Commercial Truck Trader. Keep an eye on Facebook Marketplace. Keep an eye on OfferUp. I think by the end of this month, January, February, I think you're gonna see probably another $10,000 drop on box trucks. You probably catch somebody who owns a truck outright that's just not doing good, and maybe selling that truck for a little nothing. You probably gonna feel like you robbed them after it's all said and done. A lot of people are gonna be exiting, so I would look for independent owners first, because you're probably gonna get a nice little robbery on the truck from one of them. And then if not, then take a look at Penske used trucks. I think those trucks are going to continue to go down in the beginning of the year, and then on all your classifieds. Yeah, so yeah, get a broker. Get a broker. You're going to need a broker for the workers' comp. You got to get a broker. Let them shop your company on the market to get you the best workers' comp there is. There's no way around it. I mean, it's when I say nowhere, like as far as cheap, it's going to be expensive. It's going to be expensive. So if you're in California, then it's really going to be expensive. So get a broker, let them find you whatever the cheapest of the most expensive there is out there, and let that broker shop that for you. You're right. It could sabotage you with overhead if not thought out. Right. Exactly. How to get insurance using a rented van. Who are you renting it through? You can get insurance through your broker. Get an insurance broker if you're running commercial. Do it the same way you get it if you're running a box truck. Just have your broker added to the policy. Now, if you're with U-Haul or something like that, you can get insurance through them. But if you're running commercial, then just get it through your insurance company. Go through a broker, guys. I suggest everybody go through a broker. Since my inception of coming on YouTube, you can go look at all my content. I've always been anti-progressive. I've talked to so many people that have thanked me saying, hey, Mark, I didn't even know no such thing as a commercial broker. I got progressive. Remember, I went on a campaign about getting away from progressive. If I got 1 million subscribers on YouTube, progressive would not want to pay me to put ads on my channel, because I've told people not to go with progressive. All right, so I'm not anti-progressive. I don't hate progressive, but what I'm telling you is they're the most expensive. And if you get a broker, you're going to always save money for the most part. So I suggest everybody get a broker. Find you a commercial insurance broker in your market and let them shop you on the market. There's plenty of commercial insurance companies out there. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have to go with Progressive because they're the first option you see, and they make it easy for you to sign up on your own. Get a commercial broker. Let the broker shop you and bring you the best deal. If the broker tells you, oh, well, you got to go with Progressive, find another broker. Hit that like button, guys, for me. Hit that like button. Shout out to Pippi, my moderator. Thank you, Pippi, for moderating the chat for me. Shout out to all my mentor gang members in the building, all my MGM mentor gang members in the building. Pippi, thank you for moderating this chat. Hit that like button. If you haven't hit that like button, I really appreciate it. I really do appreciate if you hit that like button. Put the snacks down and hit the like button. Hit that like button, guys. Progressive increased my premium $2,000 a month. Whoa. I've had no loss claims, accidents, fines. Can you recommend a good brokerage? The only way I can recommend you my broker is if you're in Illinois. If you're in Illinois, I can recommend you to my broker, Edgar. So let me know if you're in Illinois. I can recommend you to my broker. Brokers are licensed in the state. Insurance companies are licensed all over, but brokers are usually licensed in the state. My broker is only licensed for Illinois. So if you're in Illinois, I can give you my broker's information. Auction tomorrow, Sprinter van 2500 or Ford Transit Connect. I'm gonna be honest with you. Even though I like the Sprinters, I would go for the Transit because it would be cheaper. If you go Mercedes-Benz Sprinter 2500 or Ford Transit 250, I'm going to save that money and I'm going to go with the 250. Now, if the price is around the same and you have your mechanic check them both out and they're equal as far as, that powertrain, that engine, that trans in there, they're pretty equal as far as running and the price is the same, then yeah, by all means, go ahead and do the Sprinter. But even then, I would still think about later on as far as the maintenance. It may just be a little bit cheaper to maintain the Ford because it is a Ford. So me honestly thinking about maintenance and price, I'd probably go Transit. You said Transit Connect. That's the small one, right? Okay, so let me answer this. Because the Connect is the small one. I'm tripping. All right, so now let me answer this question different then. 2500 Sprinter versus Ford Transit Connect depends on what you're trying to do. Now, if you're doing expediting or you're doing dedicated logistics, final mile parcel freight like Staples or Office Depot, and then you're supplementing that with other things like gig and stuff, heavier loads, then yeah, Sprinter. But if you're doing small gig work, grocery gig, small parcel gig, small document, dedicated logistics, small things, you're not looking to do expedited, nothing where you're dealing with pallets and things of that nature, then I save the money and get the Ford Transit Connect. But if you plan on expediting, you putting 2-3 pallets in there and doing heavier stuff, then by all means, you're going to have to get the Sprinter. Now, if you didn't mean to put Ford Transit Connect and you're talking about that's a regular Ford Transit E250, then I would go probably the Transit E250 because you're going to save money and down the line, the maintenance is going to be a little bit cheaper. If you're talking about the smaller Transit, the Connect, and you're not planning on expediting, no pallets, things of that nature, then you'll save a bunch of money with the Connect than with the Sprinter. And workers' comp insurance is audited every year. Correct. Buy a truck is what I meant. My bad. Let me go back up here. What's your best advice on how to get a truck once your documents are complete? Yeah, so I gave you that. Sauce. GK, thank you for the super chat. GK, thank you for the super chat. I think I answered the question. So buying a truck, I would wait. If you're looking to buy a truck now, I would exercise a little patience, exercise a little discipline, a little patience. Wait next month. We're going to see a bottom probably in January or February. it's starting to climb now. They're projecting we're about 14% down right now. They're projecting 20% down by March. So I would hold off. I'd exercise some patience, and then from there, I'd start my search. I'd look to an independent owner operator who probably fell on hard times, which is going to be a lot of. You got a lot of them now. It's going to be more in January, February, and unfortunately, someone else's loss is going to be your gain. There's going to be a lot of opportunities to purchase a lot of trucks. Like I said, you're going to feel like you robbed the person. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be so thirsty to get whatever it is. You're going to feel like you stuck them up. So I would look for those opportunities first with purchasing a truck from independent people. From there, then I would proceed to your Penske's, because I think they're going to go down about another 10 grand. Your Penske used truck sales, and then your commercial truck trader. Then I would start playing your Facebook Marketplace and your OfferUp, all your marketplaces. That's how I would go about it. No problem. Appreciate you. No problem. Last question. Go ahead, shoot. You in Milwaukee? Damn, you right up the way. So yeah, still shoot me. Go to my DM. Just go to my DM on Instagram, and just send me a reminder on Instagram or Facebook, whichever one you got, and say, hey Mark, I was the guy online asking about the broker last night, and I'll reach out to my broker. Milwaukee's up the way. Let me see if he has a referral that he can give you. I'll do that for you. Since you're up the way. So go to my Facebook, send me a message on Facebook, or go to Instagram, send me a DM, and then I'll reach out to my broker and see if he has a referral up in Wisconsin, and if he does, I'll shoot you that referral information. I'll do that for you. I don't have a problem doing that for you. Just shoot me that information. David Harris, you need info. All right. Well, ask. I got answers. I got time and answers, man. I got time and answers. Hit that like button. Guys. Hit that like button for me. Hit that like button. Which would you go with, a box truck or a Sprinter van? This is another question I get asked a lot. I get asked this a lot. GK, I appreciate the super sticker too. And I'm gonna be honest with you. Don't do what I do. You got to make the best decision for you. If I were entering into the space now, brand new, but with my knowledge base, I personally would probably go cargo van. The reason why I would go cargo van is because there's a lot of opportunity for a person like me who, if I was entering into a new business, I could hustle. The restrictions that are put on you with a box truck, if you're running like after 11 hours driving, you're done. Like, I can go do dedicated work with that cargo van and still go out and do gig work. You know what I'm saying? And until my heart desire, and there's a lot more opportunities for a cargo van in today's times. I'd rather deal with the smaller parcel, final mile delivery. At this point in my life, if I were entering into it right now, I wouldn't want to deal with the truck. There's a lot of opportunities in truck, but I'd rather deal with the smaller items, do my day work, dedicated day work, and then have sky's the limit. If I want to do roadie, I see some stuff on roadie, I'll go do it. If I see some good blocks on Amazon, I'll go do it. If I see some good stuff on GoShare, I'll go do it. The opportunity is endless with a van. So that's what I would do. Vans right now are winning. They're winning. There's a lot of people running final mile gig work in vans that are making a lot of money. I can't say that's going to happen forever. I'm going to talk about something on Sunday that may change the landscape. It's just like I say, things are good always at the beginning, but there's things that come in and shift the landscape to stop things from happening. Like when Uber first started, man, they were making what, $1 something a mile, right? As soon as these companies wanted to go public, right, boom, they lowered the money. So all those people who were making those $4,000 and $5,000 a week back in those early days of Uber, that all came to an end. Nothing lasts forever, right? But if I were to get into the industry now, knowing what I know, knowing that retailers are fighting for the consumer dollar and pushing that out to gig workers because they can turn those items around a lot quicker, I would probably go that route because it's just a lot more opportunity. But that's me. You still got to make your own decision. The cost of entry is a lot cheaper, less restrictions, less headaches. That's how I would enter. But still make your own decision, do your own due diligence. Which would you go with, the box truck Sprinter van? I answered that one. My friend have a 2017 high top 2500 he's not using and will allow me to rent it from him. I just wanted to know about obtaining insurance for local work, being that vehicle is not registered to me. All right, so if he's going to rent it to you, have him go on rocketlawyer.com. All right, pay for rocketlawyer.com and draw up a rental agreement. All right, with that rental agreement, get you an insurance broker. Find you an insurance broker and put insurance on the thing. You got a rental agreement. Get you a broker, put your insurance on there, get your authority and everything you need to run commercially. Simple as that. But when I'm telling you to get the rental agreement so that your friend is covered and so that you are covered as a business person, even though that's your friend, is business. So even if he doesn't draw it up, then you go to Rocket Lawyer and you create a rental agreement and you present him with it. Both of you guys sign it every week. You redraft up a new rental agreement, or if you do it for the month, however you do it, at least you create something, a paper trail for yourself, and get you a broker, get you some commercial insurance on that thing, then go through all the other protocols as far as your authority, and simple as that. Business credit all the way, build it. 10-4. Can or should I get my MC authority now, even though I don't plan to get my truck until February or March? You can hold off. There's no rush of getting it now. I mean, you can start applying for that in January or February. You don't have to rush and get it now. I mean, if you want to age it, then, that's fine. But, depends on what you want to do, too. What are you looking to do? Are you looking to do Amazon? Then you would hold off. If you're looking to age it so that you can get opportunities with brokers running the load board, then that's another thing. What are you looking to do? What is my Instagram? Instagram is at the top. See where it says, you see the Instagram logo, Mark_the mentor, Mark_the_mentor_. It's at the top of the page. See, at the top of the page, you see the Instagram, and then you see my Facebook. Oh, hell no, YouTube played me on a notification, man. Come on, man. I'm on Thursday. I'm on Thursday nights, man. Thursday nights, 8 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock, what is that, Eastern. Probably be doing Thursday nights for the foreseeable future. It's December. January is going to be even slower, so I ain't got nothing going. It's just slow, so I'll be here 3 nights. Yeah. So you can pretty much count on Thursday nights. Shout out to all my Mentor Gang members in the building. It's the walk. What's going on? Don Solo. Roadie is so trash now, especially in Chicagoland area. People are too thirsty. Taking 50-mile trips for $33. Shaking my head. Yeah. I haven't looked at Roadie none this week. I know it was really booming a few weeks ago. But right now we're in a time where people are looking to supplement income. So maybe I had something to do with that, because I was really pumping Roadie a few weeks ago. Maybe I drove a lot of people to the platform. But right now is a time where the holidays are coming up. I hear the same thing about other platforms. People are looking to supplement income because of inflation. I actually read an article, right before I came on live, where just regular items are cheaper and essentials are higher. Eggs are higher. Food is higher. Toilet paper, paper towels, all your essential goods are higher priced, and like your TVs, your flat screens, your artificial intelligence assistants, things like your home pods, your Alexas, your Google Minis, all those things are cheaper, but essentials are higher. So people still want to have a good Christmas. People are spending a lot more money on food and things of that nature. So you got a lot of people out here that are doing what they got to do to make ends meet and to supplement their income. So it's driving a lot more people to the app that are accepting things. I see that dying down after the holiday season. It'll be back to normal. Be less people on these apps looking to supplement their income. Roadie is more advantageous for bigger vehicles. I don't really see opportunities. Like, I seen an opportunity that set on Roadie in Chicago like 2 weeks ago for about a week and a half for a lawnmower, a zero turn lawnmower that was going from like up by Morton Grove that was going down to Indianapolis, and they were only willing to pay 200. It was 217, and they pumped it up to 227. And then after a week and a half, they pumped it up to 257. It's probably still sitting there. I haven't been on Roadie this week. But for a larger vehicle, even like someone who had a pickup truck and an open trailer, to pull that, it's just not. That's not enough money for that job. So I haven't seen any big vehicle opportunities on Roadie. I've seen a lot of small vehicles opportunities, a lot of fanatics. A lot of fanatics, a lot of Walmart. But I may not be looking at the right time. The realest thing I heard, it's your friend, but it's business. Nobody can knock you for that at all. The realest thing I've heard, it's your friend, but it's business. Nobody can knock you to that. Yeah, so I'm always keep it funky with everybody, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm always keep it funky. I'm always going to give you, when I talk, a lot of this stuff is from experience, real life situations, and just knowledge. And in a situation like that, your friend, but it's still business. A lot of friendships end over business. You know what I'm saying? I would never probably, I've had ideas to do some businesses with friends, but some businesses that won't work with friends. So whenever you're doing business with a friend, even though this particular thing that they're doing is not really together business, if he rents that van from him, still at least do it the right way and create a rental agreement so you can have a paper trail just to protect you, because you never know what may happen down the line. No problem. I just came off a 48-hour fast. Let that be the reason I forgot. Yeah, it might have been. Not looking to get authority for rented van. Only want to do gig work. Are there other options for insurance? Well, if you're doing gig work, then does he have insurance on the van? If he has insurance on the van, you should be covered depending on what his insurance is. Now, if you're over 25 and you have insurance on your personal car, then you should be covered. Like, I have State Farm, right? So any car I drive, I'm covered in. Any car. I can drive your car and I'm covered, all right, with my policy with State Farm. So that's a situation that since you want to do gig work, you need to come up with an agreement with your friend. First, I create a rental agreement. If he has insurance on it, then you might want to cover the cost of insurance. I would come up with an agreement for that. Or if he doesn't have insurance on it and you want to utilize it for work, then purchase an insurance policy. I've purchased insurance policies for vehicles that I don't own. So you should be able to just go and purchase an insurance policy and put it on that vehicle, and you guys create some type of contract, and go from there. Now, I don't promote Progressive, but I know if you go to progressive.com, if you have all their your buddy's information for that Sprinter van, you should be able to get insurance on that van before the end of the night. I don't know if they'll be the cheapest for that van, but I know that I put insurance on vehicles that I don't own before. So you just need to come up with a contract, a rental agreement, and then if he has insurance, then figure that out. If he doesn't, then you should just be able to go put insurance on that van. No big deal. But I've been trying to find some dedicated regional freight while running the gigs in downtime. I've been trying to find some dedicated. Just keep trying. Some will come up. Just keep looking. Just keep looking. 16-foot box truck or Sprinter van, local runs, dedicated runs. I go Sprinter van. I do local dedicated runs. I would do local dedicated runs with a Sprinter van, and then I would supplement that with gig opportunities. I remember that lawnmower they had at 257 with a $66 gift card from the center to shop at the center, laughing but bigger vehicle, I'm talking Sprinters, Transits, Dodge, Rams. What opportunities have you seen on roadie in Chicago that would suffice a larger vehicle? Sprinter, Transit, Dodge, Ram. Me personally, I haven't seen anything in this market for those types of vehicles. I think that the stuff that I've seen in this market for those vehicles would be overkill for the stuff that I've seen, in this market. But maybe, I'm not on there. I haven't even been on there in a week. I haven't looked, but let me know, what have you seen on there that would fit these vehicles? I feel like TaskRabbit would be great for a box truck. Yeah, TaskRabbit has plenty of opportunities if you have a box truck for moving in this market. I know summertime it can get very busy. Thumbtack as well. I haven't seen anything for a box truck on roadie. I haven't even seen anything on roadie for what you're saying. That's why I'm curious for you to let me know. Random. What influenced you to go S-corp with your business? A buddy of mine and I are in the process of saving to start a master courier service. I'm thinking we should both start an LLC right now. I went S-corp because I was advised to go S-corp from my CPA. By me running a trucking company with employees, final mile, it provided more protection. It separated me from the business. I did get sued before, which the S-corp kind of protected me. A LLC is similar to like a sole proprietorship, except it has that added protection that a sole proprietorship doesn't have. An S-corp just gives you more of a layer depending on the type of business. Let's say if I was in the real estate industry, right, I would LLC if I owned, which I have property, but if real estate was my business, like everything was real estate, all right, everything that was my business, and I had a bunch of property, a bunch of property, I would LLC every building. So if I had a building that was 123 Main Street, it would be 123 Main. That building would be 123 Main Street LLC. If I had a building that was 456 Main Street, that building would act as its own business. It would be 456 LLC. All right. My CPA recommended that I go S-corp. I can't remember exactly why, but at the time, because I had a lot of employees, it was better for me for that added layer of protection. LLCs, like I say, are like sole proprietorships, just with the added layer of protection, but not like an S-corp. Now, when you're talking about taxes, the way I pay my taxes, I do my corporate filings in March. So because I'm an employee, all right, with the S corp, I'm an employee for my business, right? I'm the president. That's another thing my CPA said. Never put yourself as the CEO. Always put yourself as the president. Didn't ask him why, but that's what I did. He did it for me when he structured my business. I pay taxes on myself, right? Because the business pays me, and then the business does its corporate filings in March. All right. So I pay my personal taxes, and then the business has to pay its taxes. LLC is a little bit different, but that's ultimately why I went S corp. S corp because I was advised to go S corp back then by my accountant. When I signed up, I really didn't know much about S corp and LLC. I was like real back then. I was real like a lot of people are now. I just really didn't know, you know what I'm saying? And he advised me. So that was the reason. That was the real reason, the whole reason why I chose S corp. It didn't have anything to do with my research or nothing. I didn't know the difference between none of them when I did it. I just paid him the 750, which was another stupid thing that I did, not knowing better. Um, I didn't know how easy it was to structure your business. You know, I got referred to him by someone that I know that was in business. They told me to go see him because that's who they use, and he set my business up. He charged me 750, and he did it in 5 minutes. I stood at his desk. He said, "Well, you want to name your company?" I gave him a name. He said, "Oh, that's taken." I gave him another name. He said that was taken. Then I gave him a third name. Okay, boom. I took a letter out. Boom, that one worked. He charged me 750. He emailed me the EIN right away, and then he sent me the articles of incorporation the next day. Now, what I didn't know was that he had the articles of corporation expedited at 250. State of Illinois does it the next day for 250. If you want to wait the 10 days, it's 150. So he paid the 250 for the expedited articles of incorporation. Obviously, the EIN is free, and he made $500. So I was green back then. I didn't know any better, and I've never paid for any business after that to structure ever again. Once I learned it, I've been going to Illinois Secretary of State CyberDrive website and structuring my own business for $150 ever since. To mitigate the risk of accidents, they eventually moved to an S corp to fund our vehicles. Yeah, so all my vehicles are under the business. All my vehicles are under business. Even the vehicles that I lease them under the business. So everything as far as corporate vehicles, luxury vehicles, I've never purchased a luxury. I purchased one luxury vehicle myself. All my other luxury vehicles I always lease under the business. So luxury vehicles under the business, and all my trucks are under the business. I'm in the west suburbs, Aurora, Naperville area. There's always larger gigs for tractor trailer. Yeah, I saw that tractor job for 297, but I mean 257, but I wouldn't have took it if I was looking for a gig like that. That wasn't even worth it. I have a subcompact SUV right now. I'm making a killing. Rody had an issue at one point where lying about the size of their vehicle to get better offers. Rody had an issue at one point where people were lying about, people do that on all apps. Or they do that on Instagram. Not Instagram, but Instacart. They lie about the size of their vehicle so they can get those big and bulky orders. It just is what it is. I think I seen that lawnmower come up and go down a few times. I don't think, and then they added a picture. I don't think people knew what a zero turn lawnmower was, and they were showing up out there, and then they saw it and they couldn't take that job. But yeah, I can see people lying about the size of their vehicle to get bigger jobs and squeeze those. Try to squeeze those items in until they get a 65-inch TV from Walmart and they pull up in a Nissan Versa or a Prius and they can't fit it in the back of the hatchback or whatever. So yeah, I hear it happens all the time. My comments were more or less anecdotal evidence. You're in Naperville, Aurora. So yeah, you probably, like you said, you got more bigger tractor. I don't even look that far out. I usually, when I look, just to see what's out there, I usually look in the city limits, maybe neighboring suburbs. But Naperville, Aurora, that's far. You know what I'm saying? That's far. I stopped even taking moving jobs out there. I used to take a lot of moving jobs and send trucks out to Aurora and Naperville, and I stopped sending trucks out to Aurora and Naperville for moves. And we used to book a lot of jobs out in Naperville and Aurora, but man, like paying that hour and 15 minutes for a crew to drive out there, and then once the move was done, an hour and 15 minutes depending on traffic for them to come back. It's plenty of work in the city, man. I apologize for the choppiness of my comments. You can only type so much. No, it's all good. It's all good. Yep. So any more questions? If not, I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here. Whoever that was, I forgot who it was. Hit me up on Instagram or Facebook, and then I'll get with my broker and see if he can give you a referral for up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Maybe he knows another broker up there. But other than that, if you don't have any more questions, guys, I'm going to skedaddle. And then I'll be back Sunday. I'll be talking about, I know I got a few topics I'm thinking about talking about Sunday. I know I got to talk about this gig stuff as far as Joe Biden and this new law he's passing. So the gig frenzy is not going to be over, but he's looking to start going in some people's pockets. I mean, I've been hearing these gig workers been making too much money this year. So they when the government hears people making too much money, they got to get their taste. That whole Zelle and Cash App and all that $600 and all that stuff. So they coming for it now. They coming for it. So we're gonna talk about that Sunday. I'm gonna talk about probably gonna stick to cargo vans, box trucks, and gigs on Sunday. Yeah, we're gonna go from there. Then Tuesday I'll be back with my podcast on Tuesday. Then back next Thursday. All right, any more questions, guys? If not, I'm gonna go ahead and get up out this thing. Hit that like button, guys. I appreciate you guys. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Try to speak with you on RXO. You said you got a question for me about RXO? Go ahead and shoot. Shoot. Another junk removal thread. I was in a junk removal business for like a little less than a year. Brand new dump trailer at a PJ, a 2021 PJ DM DM142, 14 foot, 4 foot high side. And this goes back to what somebody was talking about. This is a business that I partnered with someone and just couldn't, you got a person who's real business savvy and a person who's not business savvy, which is why they came to me to partner. And then when I built the business and the money started rolling in, a person who's not business savvy, it's just not going to work, So that's why I don't really do business. And, having a partner can alleviate a lot of the risk for you. In some businesses it's probably good to have partners, but if you don't have a partner if your business acumen is here and their business acumen is somewhere down here, it's not gonna mesh. So I wouldn't recommend partnering with someone where your business acumens don't align, because it's never gonna work out. And this was a situation that didn't work out. And then I just remember what my mom used to always tell me: God bless the child that's got his own. So a lot of things you want to do in business, there's some business that you do probably want to have to minimize your own risk. You know what I'm saying? But if it's a business that you could do on your own, I really recommend and try to coach people and just doing it on your own. You know what I'm saying? God bless the child that's got his own. A lot of times, if like I said, if your business acumens don't mesh well, if you're on a business acumen way up here, you know, as far as business, and they're down here, you want to save the money, reinvest the money. They want to take the money out and go buy the bins so they can say, I own just junking junk removal, and they want to let it be known, and they want to have all the toys and the trinkets to go along with saying they got this business, and they want to have all that stuff too soon. It's just not gonna work. So, but I might talk a little bit about junk removal. Someone else asked me about it on a live stream last week, so might have been you. Thanks for all the info. No problem. Anytime. I'm ready to sign with them. I'm trying to find some lanes with them. RXO. Well, you got a what? 26 footer? You got a van? What do you got? I'm OTR Class B box truck, but I'm looking for some more dedicated. All right, they got a load board. It's a digital load board. I check out that digital load board. If you're willing to do, well, you said you're OTR, so check out that load board. They got a digital load board. I would check that out. RXO Connect. The name of the app when you go into the app store is RXO Driver, I believe. I download that app and see what they have to offer on that app. Class B box truck, but I'm looking for some more dedicated. Yeah. Now, if you're looking for dedicated local, they also have some curbside final mile. So dock to dock or dock to curb or dock to front door. One man, everything's palletized. They have those opportunities with RXO as well. They have opportunities in all lanes. You got it? You never seen? Well, you know, it's a new company. Well, it's not a new company. They just separated. They just created a new company and separated it from XPO, certain lanes. I think just give it a little time. It's only been around for a month. Give it a little time for them to add stuff onto that board. When you say there's not much on there, do you mean not much because you're in a 26-foot box truck as far as partials, or just not much on there at all? Not much for you. See, that's the difference. I got to remember you're in a box truck now. So you probably be seeing a lot of 53-foot stuff. Do you know how to filter out on that app so that you can see all the partial stuff? I got some more stuff coming up for XPO that may be real good for a lot of subscribers. Working on it now, so just give me some time. But I may have some special stuff coming up for RXO in the near future. I just want to know if when you say they don't have much, is it not much for 26-foot box trucks on the partial side? Because XPO has a ton of work, ton of freight. They got pretty much every account imaginable you can think of. They have it. They have work, but a lot of times it's not much partial for 26-foot box truck. I may not know how to filter it correctly. So yeah, practice filtering it, because I know XPO got the work. Figure out filtering it. I can't say too much too soon, but I may have a lot more information with RXO coming up soon, further in detail. Keep filtering, playing with that filter and see what they have as far as partials. Just keep playing with it. It is a new app. It's a new company. So just keep playing with it. Keep checking it. Also see what other opportunities they have local dedicated with, if you don't mind using your pallet jack and your lift gate, they have curbside final mile stuff. They have curbside final mile stuff that you may want to look into. Hit that like button, guys. Hit that like button on your way out. If you're exiting, make sure you hit that like button for me, guys. Hit that like button for me. I really, really appreciate it. I really, really Appreciate you. Hit that like button for me. Any more questions? Any more questions? If not, I'm gonna get out of here. I'll be back Tuesday night. Not Tuesday night. I'll be back Sunday night. Sunday night at, I don't know, man. I'm thinking about coming back to 7:30, but I might stay at 8 on Sundays. Because there's a lot of people go live on Sundays now, guys. A lot of people go live on Sundays. So I usually clean up at the end of the night after all your favorite box truck content creators are on. A lot of people go on at like 4. I see Kirk has a live this Sunday that I'm I'm gonna be in the audience with my popcorn for that one. I'm gonna be in the audience from here on out. I'm gonna be in the audience for these lives for a long time. I'm just gonna stay on my channel, man. I'm gonna stay on my channel. I'm gonna be in the audience for that one, though. I'm curious to hear what he got to say Sunday night for that one. But I'll be on Sunday night at 8 o'clock after everybody else go live. And, you know, I come in Sunday night and clean up. All right, so I forgot. What is this? Oh, okay. GK. Appreciate the super sticker. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. You got another question. I see it coming up on another screen. Hold on. Oh, do you have your own authority for a Sprinter van? And if so, how much would it cost? $300. Now, here's the thing with Sprinter vans. Because a lot of people say, oh, well, you don't got to get authority with Sprinter vans. If you're running commercial freight, yes, you do. And some states require you to get your own authority if you're running commercial items in a personal vehicle. My state is one of them. So, you know, I know a lot of people say, well, if it's under 10,000, you don't need to do it. My states, you have to. So, and there's other states you do as well. So you need to check with your state. You'll get, because what happens is, and I can't speak for every state, but I can speak for my state. If the Illinois Commerce Commission catches you running a cargo van, doing commercial delivery, they're going to fine you. All right, they're going to fine you. If they catch you again, they're going to give you a higher fine. If they catch you the third time, they're going to take your van. All right, so figure out if your state has its own regulatory department that works parallel with the DOT. And if so, then yes, you're going to have to get a DOT and whatever that state required authority is as well. So check with your state. And if you do, then you're going to have to get it. I don't know what state you're in, but you can find out if you need to. You can go to the FMCSA website, and they have a special page for that to check to see if, matter of fact, hold on, let's see if we can do it real quick. I'm on a new setup, so I don't know how to share my screen, but let me see if I can figure it out real quick. I did this on a live before. Hold on. Oh, see, I done messed up already. Hold on. No, hold on. Let me see. Hold on, y'all. I'm still trying to figure out how to use this new system. All right, how do you share your screen? Let's see if this works. Share screen. Oh, let me see. Give me 1 second. Let me see something. Let me see if I figure out how to share this screen. There's a link with the FMCSA that'll let you know if it's required for you in your state. But give me 1 second. Let me see if I can pull it up and share the screen real quick. Hold on. All right, so real quick, give me 1 second. I'm pulling it up. Let me see if this works. All right, let me pull this up. Share screen. All right, so if you go to this website, which is the U.S. The FMCSA website, .gov. This is the site where you go to, or the page where you go to. Do I need a USDOT number? It's real simple. Are you a motor carrier transporting property or passengers? Oh, god damn it! I can't see. Hold on, let me kill this. All right. Are you a motor carrier transporting property or passengers in commerce? Are you gonna be transferring property? You're gonna hit yes. All right. Do I need a USDOT number? All right. Now, if you're planning on crossing state lines or interstate, it's going to determine if you're going to need one or not, depending on your state. Now, if you're planning on crossing state lines, then you're going to enter yes. Do one or more of the following apply? I am a for-hire motor carrier. Obviously, you're going to be a for-hire motor carrier if you're carrying commercial freight, all right, commercial cargo. I operate a vehicle with a gross vehicle weight or of 10,000 pounds or more. All right, so your vehicle is going to be 10,000 pounds or less, but it asks you do one or more of the following apply. All right, so even though this doesn't apply to you, this one does because you are a for-hire motor carrier. So you're going to hit yes. It's going to take you to another page, which is going to be the unified registration system, which is going to start the process of registering you to sign up for your DOT. All right. So boom, that's that. Now let's kill this. Now let's go back. Let's go back. Hold on. Give me a second, guys. I'm still trying to figure some things out here. All right, let me kill that. Let me kill this. Let's kill this. Let's go back here. Let's go back to where it says I'm an interstate carrier. All right. I am an interstate carrier. That means you're local. You don't cross state lines. All right. Do one or more of the following apply? All right. I carry one or more types of hazardous materials. So no, you don't carry hazardous materials. My state of domicile requires me to obtain a USDOT number. Apart from the FMCSA's regulations, some states require their interstate carrier restraints to obtain a USDOT number. See if your state is on the list. Now, there's a lot of influencers and people out there I see giving people bad information, saying, oh, you don't need one. And I always say, yes, you do. And I have to get into an argument with people. So that's why, like Kirk says, information is best known when it's documented or whatever. Say. So I just go to the source, man. I'm just going to the source now. Don't take my word for it. We're going to go to the source. So my state requires it because we have, apart from the FMCSA's regulations, some states require their interstate carrier registrants to obtain a USDOT number because we have to get the USDOT number and we also have to get the Illinois Commerce Commission. So you click here to see if your state is on here, and most states are on here. Most states are on here. Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas isn't on here. California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois. All right. So Illinois, we have the Illinois Commerce Commission. All right. So we have to get an ICC and we have to get the DOT. I don't know why it's on here. All right. Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan. So pretty much every state is on here. For interstate motor carrier registration, check with your responsible state agency. Apart from federal regulations, some states require their interstate commercial motor vehicle registrants to obtain a USDOT number. These states include, so states that require a USDOT number. So there you go. There you go. So if your state is on there, that means you need a DOT number. All right. Oh, shit. I messed up again. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. All right, hold on. All right, back. All right. Do you have any referrals for a broker in South Carolina? I can only give you a referral for a broker here. My broker is only licensed here, so only here. I'm gonna help someone out earlier because he's literally right up the way. So my broker may know a broker in Wisconsin. I don't know if he knows anyone in South Carolina. So no, my broker is only licensed in Illinois. Out in NYC, I learned a lot of game from you. Just want to say thank you for all the knowledge blessings, my bro. Appreciate you. Appreciate you for checking in. You know, I don't know everything. I know a lot, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I appreciate people for tuning in. I've learned a lot in the 13 going on 14 years that I've been in. And however I can help people, I'll help people. So these 3 nights a week that I come on live, plus the videos that I put out, you know, if I can be a blessing to someone with this free information, then, you know, so be it. So I appreciate you for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button. I really appreciate it. I really do. All right, so if there's any more questions, if there's no more questions, then I am going to get on up out of here. I'm going to get up out of here. How's my business going in Illinois? I'm winding down. Moving this year, like I said earlier, wasn't the best year. A lot of people moved themselves this year. There was work, but not a normal summer. It wasn't a normal summer. A lot of people did it themselves. Like a lot of these Generation Z took it upon themselves to move. We saw like a lot of moving parties this summer. A lot of people would have like people come over like their friends and they'll do like moving parties. They have beer and pizza and they'll just move at a very slow pace with their U-Haul. One particular quarter this year, U-Haul did $1 billion in revenue LY over LY from that quarter last year. My brother works in U-Haul corporate, so I get to keep up with their numbers. And they did a lot more business this year than they did last year. A lot more business. So a lot of people went to U-Haul this year. As far as the trucking business is winding down. The pandemic I talk about this all the time. The pandemic changed a lot of things. A lot of people went into business for themselves. It's hard to find employment nowadays. That motivation that I was given earlier in the stream about working hard and things of that nature, that motivation that I had early in my career, I don't have that same motivation anymore to beg people to come to work. Like I'm not begging grown men to come to work. We went on a real heavy hiring campaign last summer. And it's just like everyone I hired just didn't work out. Like, it just got to the point where I just got tired, you know, and because I've made my money in the industry, I'm not as eager as to keep pushing to hire people as I probably would have been 10 years ago. It was easy to find workers in 2010, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, even in 19, it wasn't as easy in 2019 as it was years prior. But when 2020 hit, it just became very difficult. It became more difficult in 2021. It just came to the point where I'm just like, yo, I'm not finna beg people to come to work. And then the people that were applying, they just weren't in the field that I'm in with Final Mile and moving, like I can't send just any old average person in somebody's home. You know, one, there's a liability as far as, you know, injury and damage to property, things of that nature. But, you know, a lot of these guys that come now that apply for this type of work, you know, they just don't have the proper work etiquette. Like I shouldn't have to tell someone to pull their pants up. Like, you're moving furniture, whether it's for the final mile side or the moving side, you can't move furniture with your pants hanging down, and you don't even have a belt to hold them up. Like, you can't have a couch and your pants are wrapped around your knee. I shouldn't have to tell you to come to work. I shouldn't have to tell you, ask you, yo, did you brush your teeth? Did you wash your face? And things that I'm not finna send nobody out as a representation of me. So what I did, that's gonna be looking bad, cause that ain't me. So once I saw the landscape starting to shift last year, and the people that were applying were just not to my liking, I said, well, you know what? This is the time to scale down. And that's what I did. So as far as business is concerned, my business, I've seen my better days in business. As far as the trucking industry, there's a lot of people doing things for themselves now. I have other streams of revenue. I got property and things of that nature. So I'm fine, but I'm slowly winding down in trucking and in the moving industry. That's probably where I'm gonna be. I don't know when I'm gonna ultimately exit. I'm probably gonna try to sell the business. I'm actually gonna speak with a business broker as far as like selling the um, moving business. If we don't sell the business, then I'll just sell the equipment and then I'll just move on. So, but ultimately, I mean, for the most part, it's doing fine because I don't have any overhead. All my trucks have been paid for years. Um, I run interstate as far as trucking, so my insurance over there isn't high. Um, all my equipment has been paid for, like all my dollies, my straps, anything that's equipment based, like, has been paid for. I got tons of material that has just been acquired over the years, so I'm 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 in my what do you call it? What do you call that when the basketball players their last year when they do their what's that they do that the little circuit where they saying they goodbye. That's where I'm probably at right now. And then physically with being having a lack of employment, because employment, and that's another thing I didn't talk about on this live. And people can use my real life scenarios as far as applying it to, them entering into the space. Employment is another big issue. It's hard finding people. You have middle mile people that have trucks that have no drivers. They get a driver, the driver stays for a week or a month, and then they jump seats. It's real competitive out here. It's competitive because you have people that a lot of new entrepreneurs now, so you're competing with people that are on your level, and then you're competing with the big boys as far as middle mile. So that's why a lot of middle mile people that I talk to that have trucks have a hard time finding drivers, because people are jumping seat to seat. Final mile is just very labor intensive work. All right, same thing with moving. There's a lot more opportunities that one person can do other than carrying furniture. You can do gig work and it's less labor intensive. So that's my biggest challenge. But, like I said, you got to kind of know when it's your time. And physically, I've been getting out on the trucks for the past years to kind of supplement for those lack of employment that we have. Call offs, I got to get out there. Sometimes I have to schedule myself out there because we just don't have enough people. But at my age, and the way I beat my body up in those early years building the business before I came off the truck in 2012 and 2013 and was sitting in an office for 8-9 years or whatever it was until 2020 and have to get back on the truck, even though physically I'm strong enough to it. And sometimes, man, my knees be crackling and my right hip, I fell off a truck in 2011, 2012. So that right knee and that right hip ain't been the same since. So I can't physically get out here and work every day like I could in 2010, 2011, 2012. So I'm probably going to exit for sure all the way probably in 2023. When, I don't know, but it's just I know it's the time. So instead of me, sitting there trying to hold on to, I'm just going to go ahead and get about that thing. I've sold some trucks this year. I took advantage of um I took advantage of some of those high prices earlier this year. I sold some trucks for more than I paid for them in 2013. You know, don't cry now when the going gets tough. Who's crying? Hey, moderator, do work with this guy. Ain't nobody crying. I made my money 10 years ago, buddy. 10 years ago. I'm comfortable. I'm real comfortable. I ain't crying. My truck's been sitting and I don't care. So ain't nobody crying. I'm telling my story. That's why people are here. People are here to learn. But ain't nobody crying. I'm comfortable. Hey, moderator, go ahead and put Buddy on timeout. Don't ban him. Just put him on timeout for a minute. And that's 10 years ago, right? And I made a lot of money from 2010 to 2020. Even this year I made money. You see what I'm saying? It's always somebody gonna come in and troll. So let him, go ahead and kick him. Go ahead and kick him. Hey Pippi, you still in here? Go ahead and put Buddy on timeout for a second. Let him think about it. The going gets tough. The tough keep going. We going. We just not running all the trucks. I'm still running 2 trucks. It ain't no big deal. Still running. Just not running all of them. Who's crying? Who's complaining? See, that's what I'm saying. It's always somebody that's coming. Then when you got people who are honest online, who's not saying, I'm running this many trucks, I'm making $1 million. You got a person that's really telling a real story, and then you got people that come in and troll you. Right. Yeah, put them in the corner for a second. Let them think about it. Let them think about it. Let them think about it. How do you mix business and personal life? Is your workers mixed of all races? What routes did you take for your business stay afloat? What's your growth for the year? How's your business doing in Illinois? Do you have any knowledge in Kansas City market as far as being a lucrative opportunity for box trucks? Don't know about Kansas, man. Can't tell you about Kansas. I guess this is the guy who asked that question. And then I went and answered this guy's question from an honest standpoint, and then this dude goes on a rant for no reason at all. Like, I really don't care, dude. How do you mix? But I'm going to answer his question if he's still here. I don't know if you kicked him. How do you mix business and personal in life? I don't mix business and personal. Business is business. Personal is personal. Business is business. Business is business. So whatever is going on in business, I don't bring it home. I used to bring it home, and then I found myself upset. If something happened bad at work that day, I would bring it home, and then I'd be mad at home. You know what I'm saying? So I had to learn to stop mixing business with personal. And then after a while, after so many years, probably about, it took me a while, maybe about 8-9 years to kind of finally wind down and kind of say, you know what, I can't make all the money. Like, I've made the money. I've made investments. I got other streams of revenue. I have a comfortable living. Now it's time to, maybe not take a step back, but not accept everything, not overwork myself to death and take everything. And I didn't figure that out to probably maybe out 2018, 2019. And then 2020 hit. So then that fully, whatever I didn't want to scale back, on my own, the pandemic did it for me. So, yeah. Is your workers mixed of all races? I don't know if he's still here, but I'm going to answer the question. So here's the thing about that. I've had workers of all races. My workers predominantly throughout my tenure in business have been black, mostly black. I've had Hispanics, I've had Caucasians work, but most of my workers are black. We're in a black community. I'm black. And I hire who the predominant majority of the applicants are, and most of the applicants over my tenure of business have majority been black. Now, I've had Hispanics. Now, what happened with the Hispanics is when one Hispanic came, they referred a bunch of other Hispanics. But then the thing with that is when one leaves, they all leave. So that's what happens with Hispanics. I had one white guy work for me before. His name was Doug, but Doug was like a white guy that was black. So all his friends was black. His girlfriend was black. So Doug was white, but Doug was really black, but he was white. So I've had a mix of all races work for me, but predominantly over my tenure of years in business, all my workers have been mostly black for the most part. People apply for positions knowing they are not qualified all the time in our niche. We are niche down. Yes, we are. All business have issues with hiring, but you have to keep going. Listen, I'm not keeping going because I don't want to keep going. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. So if that's what upsets you, I'm not a new guy in business. I've been in business for a while. I don't want to keep going. I want to exit. I want to exit gracefully. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with that. If you have a plan, you don't have to make this a 25, 30-year thing. You know what I'm saying? You can exit when you want to exit. You know what I'm saying? If you want to exit, you can exit. Now, coming into the industry, yeah. If I was coming in 2010, 2011, 2012, and let's say a pandemic would have hit then, yeah, I wouldn't have had no choice because guess what? I was still living at the crib. I didn't have my own crib. I didn't have investment properties. I didn't have other streams of revenue. I didn't have none of that. I was still in the building process. But by the grace of God, I didn't have a pandemic or an economic downturn, and I was able to hit that success phase and hit that takeoff phase in 2014 and run it up. And while I was running it up, I realized, yo, this is my run. I made investments. I made sure I purchased me a crib. I made my other investments, created streams of revenue for business, and continue to do that while I continue to make money. I hit some brick walls in business like everybody do, and I brought myself back up. A big part of me being in business and trucking, when I had what people are dealing with now, I dealt with something similar to this in 2017. All right. What saved me, and it's like I said the other day, what saved me was the fact that I had a moving company. So I had another business to float that company. If I didn't have that moving business, right, to float the trucking company, man, the trucking company would have died in 2017. You know what I'm saying? So, I was lucky that I was able to, I had that other business to kind of run that other business and keep it afloat. Not everybody is that lucky. Not everybody is that lucky. So goes back to what I was saying earlier. When you seek your run, if you're having a run in business and everything is going your way and you're in that takeoff phase, you have to take that money and you got to start creating other streams of revenue. All right. It's because nothing lasts forever. Nothing lasts forever. So this young man, Mr. Mario, you know what I'm saying? He has to realize that, and in business that, you gotta, well, you want to buy some trucks? I'll post one tomorrow, a 26-footer. We're gonna call your bluff on it. I'm gonna post a 26-foot tomorrow in the community, and we're gonna see if Mr. Mario Elliott buys it from me. I want $35,000. I'm gonna post it tomorrow in the community. All right, we're gonna see if Mr. Mario Elliott buys it. I'll post it tomorrow, and we're gonna see. We're gonna call his bluff. We're gonna call people bluff around here. He blocked them, but I'm gonna post one tomorrow and see if Mr. Elliott, Mario Elliott, since he want to buy trucks, and I got trucks sitting that I ain't even worried about. But since he want to buy them, I'm gonna post one, and we're gonna see if he buy it. We are actually executing our exit plan too. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with creating an exit plan, as long as you made your money. As long as you made your money, man. If you don't want to, I don't want to deal with people no more. I don't got time for that. I make easy money other ways. All the hard work, all the time that I spent, it's just like I said something earlier. He asked a good question about personal life and business. Guess what? I probably could have been married 10 years ago. I had a few opportunities to get married, but I was too entrenched in the business and getting to the money and getting to the bag. It is what it is. Now, some people, I'm getting to the bag. I'm getting to the bag. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I've always operated. So it is what it is. But, I'm gonna post that 26 footer tomorrow on the community, and we're gonna see if Mario gonna buy it. We're gonna see if Mario gonna buy it. But yeah, you're executing your exit plan. That's good, man. As long as you made money, that's all that matters. It's been a great, and the money still is, but that all goes into it getting to be a bit too much. It's been great, and the money is still, but what's you having what employment issues, Pippi? Why are you creating an exit strategy? Why are you creating an exit strategy, Pippi? And then after she answers, I'm gonna probably, if no more questions, I'm gonna get out of here. Block this kind. We kicked him for a minute. It's all good. We ain't tweaking on him. Hey, Pippi, answer that question for me. Why are you creating the exit strategy? What's going on? Do. After she answered that, then I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. What time is it? 11. We had a great crew finally, but as of last week, I'm ready to toss them all, and my dude is getting tired of the road. That's another thing, a lot of people, that road life is one thing, for OTR. You see a lot of people, throwing the towel because, like you said, they get tired of that road. But like on the other flip coin, when you're talking about the crew, if it's for Final Mile, I guess it gets to the point where you don't want to deal with people, but in my situation, it's just no people to get with. Like, man, people just the applicants that are applying now, they're just not worth it. They're just not worth it for this type of work. Even with middle mile, like I hear people complaining. I know a guy who has a 26-foot truck, and it's been sitting for a while, and he did do some of the driving, but middle mile isn't him, and the truck has just been sitting. He's paying a note on it, and he can't find anyone to drive it. If he finds someone to drive it, they'll be in there for a week or two, and then they don't show back up. They'll get paid and they don't show back up. So, I get it. I feel you. But like I said, if you hit that point where you're just tired, then you got to move on. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with moving on. Nothing wrong with exiting. Don't let nobody like this guy that was in here trolling try to make it seem like, it's something wrong with exiting. As long as you create a strategy and you exit on top, then it is what it is. People exit real estate industry. People exit the restaurant industry. There's a restaurant here that I really, really like going to. It's called Tavern on Rush. And a really exquisite restaurant downtown Chicago. And they say, you know what? After 25 years, they make a lot of money. But they say after 25 years, that's it. That's it. The pandemic hurt them a little bit, but they were able to recover. And they said, you know what, man, we made our money. We just going to exit. There's nothing wrong with exiting. There's nothing wrong with exiting on top. So they are going in and tearing up these people's stuff, floors and appliances. The claims are killing us. If you got claim issues, then yeah, that's unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? And, that goes back to what I'm talking about as far as Final Mile too. Like, people now don't really care. Like, I've been seeing that too. People don't care about going in these people's homes, tearing stuff up. They'll just quit on you. You know what I'm saying? So if that's what's driving you away, then I feel you. Prior to the pandemic, you had people that did have a little bit more, not compassion. What's the word I'm looking for? a little bit more a little bit more they were just a little bit more responsible when it came to dealing with people's property. I don't see that anymore. I get calls and I get messages from people who've hired people like off Thumbtack and people off of TaskRabbit now that lack skill and walk off jobs halfway through jobs because they get frustrated, because they don't know how to maneuver something, and then they call and want you to finish the job or clean up someone else's mess. So yeah, I get it. A lot of people just not responsible on how they going in and dealing with people's property and dealing with people's things. So I get it. I see it. But that goes back to what I'm saying last year. Like, yo, I was on this job with this dude last year, and this dude was moving like a turtle. He didn't care. Like, I'm steady telling this dude to be careful. And it was one of those days where I got left hanging. Someone called off. So it was just me and him. I was already short, and I'm with a dude. We got 3 jobs to do. And I'm with a dude who just didn't care, So, you get to the point where you just like, well, man, you know what? I don't care either. I'm not finna deal with it. And that's what happens. So, yeah, we take 35% from each check until the claims are settled. Yeah, if you're getting a lot of claims, then you probably want to, it's probably no sense. And I'm not saying, if you want to exit, go ahead and exit. But if you're getting a lot of claims from this crew, you might want to just dissolve that crew. Ain't no sense of running it. Here's the thing. If that's your only crew, you're running one final mile truck and that's your only crew. No sense of continuing to run if they're continuing to tear people's stuff up. You might want to just dissolve that crew and cut those losses sooner than later. Because you don't want to put yourself in a situation where they get on a job and they really do some major damage. You don't want to put yourself in that situation. You don't want to put yourself in that situation. So, I can't tell you how to run your business, but if it's to that extent where they're causing, you're getting claims like that to the point where you want to exit, you might want to dissolve that relationship with them sooner than later. Yeah, integrity. That's the word I was looking for. A lot of cats nowadays don't have no integrity. That is why we have them on 3 weeks in the hole on pay. It is still not deterring them from being careless. Yeah, see, I don't, if you got them 3 weeks in the hole, and you taking money out their checks and they still tearing stuff up, then yeah, they lack the integrity. I don't know. Have you tried, offering retraining to them? You don't want to send them, you don't want to continue to let it go on and then they really go do some damage to the point where it's like real damage that even you taking 35% out their check is not going to even pay the damage. You know what I'm saying? So it's something you got to think about. We use one-man teams, they install appliances. So you use one-man teams, they install appliances. How are they causing damage then? If they're not carrying the stuff in, you're just the crew that comes in and does the installs. How are they damaging something that's already there? Are they doing the installs wrong? Are they hooking the stuff up wrong? Is it like a situation where it's a refrigerator and when they slide the refrigerator back, they're not careful and they're scratching the floor? How are they damaging? How are they damaging stuff with just one item? With just one team just doing the installs? Just got a claim today where he dragged a Ranger car. See, I knew it. I said it. He was dragging it. Well, the thing with the Range is obviously it's not like the refrigerator where it has the caster wheels under it. So if he stupid stuff, yeah. So yeah, in that case, yeah, that's just not smart. What you probably want to do is you want to get sliders. You want to give them some sliders So that way when he, goes to do the installing, he has to move the range. He can, tilt one end up, put sliders on each side, tilt the other side up, put the sliders on there. So that way now he has the sliders working for him and he's not scratching the floor. That's my suggestion to you as far as that particular claim that you just got today. That'll help since you're doing one-man installations. You probably want to purchase some sliders. The other way you can prevent that from happening is you want to use moving blankets in this scenario. He's one man. So one man, you're going to have to go with the sliders. Because the other option, you could put masonite down, but I mean, with the masonite has to go under there, and then it has to get removed from under there. So yeah, you're gonna have to go with sliders. But that's messed up that you got a claim today. It seems like you're getting a lot of claims, so you might want to offer retraining before you. I mean, if you don't want to exit, you're just exiting because you're just tired of the claims. That's one thing. But if you don't want to exit, then you should offer retraining and go from there. See what happens. Put some water on the floor when sliding the range back. I'm offering the boot. Yeah, well, yeah. I can't tell you how to run your business, but if you're fed up and you're ready to exit, then it is what it is, But final mile is very, liability driven. You don't got to tell me. I've never wanted to exit due to claims. That's something I've always been able to, even when we were claim heavy years ago, it's not something that really ticked me off. I just knew it was a part of the industry. I don't know how it would feel if I was claim heavy now at this point in the business. It probably would push me out now anyway, because I don't have that motivation and drive anymore as far as that's concerned. But claims has never been. This is something I just dealt with because guess what? Ultimately, I wasn't paying for it anyway. I was taking out people's checks. And the way I take it out, is if you didn't have integrity before, you was gonna have it once I hit you with that first payment. Because I did it in 4 payments. So 4 payments. I gotta get it and get it quick. So 4 payments. I pay it every week. You got it out in 4 payments. So I believe in hiring slow and firing fast. Yeah, well, in this industry in final mile, you gotta hire slow because you gotta train really, 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 really well, really, really well. So, as you know, you're in it, so it's liability driven. So, have charged insurance 3 to 4 times. It's almost impossible to get insurance. Have changed insurance. So, are you filing these claims on your insurance? You know that's a no, right? I talk about it all the time. Especially these general liability claims, you can't file these. If these are things that you can pay out of pocket, then you got to pay these claims out of pocket. Especially these small level general liability claims, because as soon as you file one, they're going to drop you. You know that. I talk about it all the time. If it's something that you can afford out of pocket for general liability, you got to pay it. And if you switch insurance companies 3 to 4 times, you're running out of options. So I don't know. With this floor, I'm assuming you're going to get that floor fixed out of pocket. We pay the smaller ones, but they get some big ones. Give me an idea of the big one. I think you said you had one that was 25 grand, right? Yeah, 25 grand, of course you're going to file that one. So I know you got dropped with that one immediately. If they didn't drop you immediately, they didn't renew you. Once the policy was set for a renewal, they just didn't renew you. Yeah, so that $25,000 one, I know they didn't renew you on that one. What was the second biggest? That $25,000 one, that was for the guy who left the water running, right? Or he didn't hook up the He didn't do the hookup right? We deal with the water, and those claims are always big. Right, see, you got the hookup. See, some final mile companies, see, because you guys are doing the actual hookup, yeah, those claims are gonna fall on you because the crews that drop them off don't do the hookups. Yeah, I don't know what that guy. I remember you told me the story. I don't remember exactly what it the details of the hookup were, but I remember you telling me a story and how it ruined the floor and then it was leaking down and all that stuff. Yeah, yeah, that sucks. But yeah, it's part of the game. It's a part of the industry for final mile when claims. So, man, sorry to see you go, man. Sorry to see you go. But if you want to retire, the claims are kicking your butt, then you gotta do what you gotta do. If you're not making money and you're switching insurance companies, you gotta do what you gotta do. I can't be mad at you. The range from 200 to 25K. Yeah, that sucks, man. I'm sorry that happened to you. That's a big claim. That's a big claim. So, what are you gonna do with So you saying your guy he wants to come off the road? So you just gonna sell the truck and just be done? And what are you guys are planning to do after you get out of the business? You guys got other ideas, new business ventures you're gonna get into when you sell your truck, or what are you gonna do? She answered this one. I'm gonna get out of here. I want to do arts and crafts. It's a lot of money in arts and crafts. It's a lot of money in arts and crafts. It's a lot of money in arts and crafts. Well, you do what you want to do. Do what makes you happy. Do what makes you happy. And if trucking is not making you happy anymore, for whatever reason, then you gotta do what makes you happy. As long as you made money and you're exiting on the in the green, then that's a good thing. So, not sure what he wants to do. Well, he wants to come off the road, so he gonna sell that truck and he gonna do something else. So, you know, maybe I should. What I was thinking about doing, flipping into cargo vans, and maybe thinking about trying cargo vans, seeing if that is a little bit easier to hire in, because I know a lot of people are struggling, both middle mile and final mile, with hiring. Maybe hiring for cargo vans is a little easier. I know the turnover, and you can take this idea too. I know the turnover is kind of high with cargo vans. The turnover is high as well with cargo vans, but it seems like it's easier for companies to hire people to drive cargo vans than it is for trucks now. Obviously, for the middle mile, it's because of the OTR aspect. Final mile because of the labor aspect of it. But cargo vans is a little bit easier. I see a lot of women driving cargo vans now for like Amazon. I saw a woman driving one of the Walmart Sprinter vans the other day on the expressway. It might be easier to hire people for cargo van work than it is for box truck work now. That's something I've been looking into. But those are my thoughts. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I said 2 hours, and here we are again. So, 3 hours now? I got to cut these down to 2 hours. All right, guys, I'm finna get out of here. I appreciate everybody for checking in. I'll be back Sunday talking about cargo vans and box trucks and gig work. I appreciate everybody for coming out. Hit that like button on your way out. Pippi, thank you for moderating. Thank you for putting Buddy on timeout. Because we don't deal with no hating over here, telling people what they need to do. Do what you need to do. Worry about yourself. A lot of people need to worry about themselves nowadays, instead of worry about other people that's not thinking about them, that's straight. You see what I'm saying? Hit that like button on your way out, and I see you guys Sunday. Appreciate it. Be safe out there.